What's up, everybody? It's Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and there's a bunch of people gathered to talk about video games. What could it be? It has to be GameFace, episode 446, on SIFTD Games at SIFTD.net.
But only 446.
What do you say?
But only episode 446.
Right, otherwise, forget it. All bets are
any other
off.
episode.
What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are having an awesome week in video game land. It's Shane Satterfield and Matt Keil here for another episode of GameFace, taking you through all the big games, releases, news stories, and everything else in the video game industry. It is our goal here on GameFace to make sure that if you watch this show, you don't need to watch anything else during the week related to video games. Of course, you can if you want alternate opinions, but no, you can't. On second thought, no, you can't.
Not allowed.
But that really is our goal. In fact, that's kind of our goal at SIFTD in general, is if you're a patron to SIFTD, you won't need to go anywhere else. And if you look at how we program our content, we kind of cover all the bases, right down to like Dossier, where we roll out all the games worth keeping an eye on for the month. It is our goal at SIFTD to, with the amount of shows that we have, make sure that you guys don't have to go anywhere else to get game coverage. But of course, if you want alternate opinions, you can, and you probably should, although Matt would argue, definitely not.
I mean, why would you?
Why would you?
You're already spending 3 hours listening to other people's opinions of video games. How much time you got?
Seriously. Actually, that's a really good point. How was your week, Matt?
All right.
Yeah?
AJ the Legend Watson asked if I saw weapons, and I did.
Oh, you did?
Not too impressed.
No?
Really. No, I was...
He's doing the Resident Evil
He's doing the Resident
movie?
Evil movie next, yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Barbarian, so I don't really know much about it.
See, I really liked Barbarian.
This is apparently better than Barbarian, which indicates to me that I should not see Barbarian.
Yeah, probably not.
It's, I mean, part of it's my fault. I was going and hoping for like something on the level of Sinners and 28 Years Later, and...
not it.
No.
I actually just watched Sinners this week. Finally, I got to watch it. I liked it. I thought it got a little campy at the end.
Oh, for sure.
Is that on purpose?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it becomes a little wish fulfillment, like fantasy.
Yeah.
At the end.
But otherwise, very interesting.
It's supposed to, I mean, the first half is basically a period drama.
Yeah.
A crime drama,
Yeah.
and then it just becomes a fucking. It becomes like From Dusk Till Dawn if it had a brain in its head.
If I had just gone to the theater and didn't know anything about it, I would have sat there and let the big twist and been like, what the F? Like, I knew it was a vampire movie.
Yeah.
So you're kind of sitting there waiting for the shoe to drop the entire time. Like, and I kind of figured it out. Oh, they're all congregating at this place. This is probably where all hell's going to break loose.
Right.
But I was watching it, like, with that anticipation.
Oh, there's a white Irish guy on fire. We know that there's something wrong now. Yeah.
I kind of wish that I had gone in completely blind, because it would have blown my doors off.
It's a good one to go in not knowing anything.
Yeah. But I just ruined it for all y'all now.
Well, I mean, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
I mean, also,
they haven't hid
like,
that.
You probably don't remember, because I saw the trailer like in the theaters probably like right before Christmas, and by the time the movie came out, I'd basically forgotten about it. And then I went back and watched the trailer again. It's stunning how much of the end of the movie is in that trailer. Like,
lots of films do that.
There's almost a lot of them do it, and like Weapons did that too. But like, I was just amazed. I'm like, oh my, because like
they told you everything.
You don't know how important anything is in the trailer for Sinners until you see Sinners. You're like, oh my god, almost the last shot of the movie is in the trailer.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But Weapons is like a really cool mystery, a really good question, and the answer is just incredibly dumb. To the point that I guess a lot of people don't understand it, because like they think
that obvious.
They think it must be more than that. Because like a lot of people I saw online were like, "Well, wait, what happened to the kids?" Like, you literally, like, I'm not kidding. They're literally right in front. Like, it literally explains what happens to the kids.
You just don't want to believe
there
it.
There is no ambiguity. There is no question what happened to them. They're right there.
That's funny.
It's right in front of you, and it's like, it's just, the answer is so stupid that everyone's like, wait, what? Also, it's very, because everyone runs like with their arms out when they do the running thing when the thing happens to them. And it just looks like Naruto running to me. Like, the whole time I'm just like, everybody here is Naruto. All these kids Naruto. Like, well, what are these kids? What are they watching? Why did they all do? I'm like, they're watching Naruto. 2:17 a.m. Everybody's got to run out of their house like Naruto. Everybody does that.
Well, Matt, you have something awesome here to share with us today. Something that you've been working on for 6 years.
Well, I don't know if working on it's the right
thing.
But yeah, this is this finally completed this week. This is Menasor.
Slide him into frame there.
He looks a little small in the shot.
He doesn't look small to me. He's gigantic.
This is Menasor, the combined form of the Stunticons. The first figure in this set came out in 2019. The red one just came out this week with all the combiner pieces.
And he was finally able to complete it.
So now he is finally put together. Same it's Fans Toys, the same series as that big red and white one that we showed a while ago.
Yeah.
Like back in September. It was almost a year ago. But he's not as visually interesting maybe as the red and white one because he doesn't pop the same way. But he is 9 pounds of combined robot. Really impressive. And he was my favorite back when I was a kid.
Oh wow!
Because he's the counterpart to that other one. There was the Aerial Bots and the Stunticons.
Right.
So the people maybe don't remember this because it was very early. It was the first season basically. But originally part of the gimmick was the Decepticons could fly and they were planes, and the Autobots couldn't fly and they
had to stay on the
cars,
ground,
except for like Jetfire.
Yeah.
And when these guys came out, like all of a sudden the Aerial Bots meant the Autobots had planes, and Stunticons meant the Decepticons had cars.
Right.
And like they were like evil Autobots. And that was really cool. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And the main guy, who you can't see because he's plugged into the torso here, turns into a giant tractor trailer, and he was like the anti-Optimus Prime.
Right.
And like his whole thing was like he wanted to survive a collision with Optimus Prime. He did not.
Now, does this all turn into the tractor trailer?
This little part does, yeah.
But the whole thing doesn't fold together into one.
It kind of does. So the Motor Master here actually does turn into a full tractor trailer by itself.
Okay,
it's actually one of the most impressive transformations I've ever seen, because it gets a full trailer out of just a robot.
Oh wow!
But then the rest of the framework, the chest and the arm frame and the legs and the leg frame, that does all turn into a second trailer.
Oh, wow.
Like a long second trailer.
That's pretty cool.
Which is actually a reference to, in the cartoon, they accidentally drew him with 2 trailers because there was like a panel line on the middle of the toy, and that got translated in the character sheet as a second trailer.
Oh.
So
do the cars then go into the trailers? Is that how it works?
No, the cars are too big for that.
Okay.
In a perfect world, yes, that's how that would work. But no, so they all. There's some very clever things going. Like these things here are the tops of the arms of the tractor trailer guy. These guys, this is all fake. This part here is part of the arm. They just sort of split open and kind of, which is cool because they came out years before this came out.
That's pretty cool, man.
There was something with like this guy came out. This guy came with all the combiner stuff.
Okay.
So he took, I think 4 or 5 years to come out because they had to redesign it because there was something wrong with it. Like it wasn't working. And it's notable that this guy, if you hold this guy, he weighs half as much as all the other cars. And you're like, okay, there's a weight problem.
You had to figure out something, yeah. How much all told between all the things you had to buy to combine that did you spend, do you think?
Well, the funny thing is, like at this point, you probably would have to adjust for inflation.
Yeah, because it's been 6 years.
But I'm gonna say about 1,000.
Wow. Okay.
Like the main body was like 220. The 3 limbs were like 120, 150, and then the burgundy car with all the combiner parts was 360.
Wow. And now it's complete.
And now it's complete. It will go on top of the display shelves and hopefully not make them explode.
This is one of your favorites, one of your big boys.
This is. I love the combiners. My favorites are the combiners, the Dinobots, and the Headmasters, pretty much in that order.
Yeah.
My favorite combiner is Predaking, but he came much later.
Yeah.
And no one has the balls to make him in this size yet, so we're waiting.
Yeah.
We're waiting for that.
It's awesome.
But there's a bunch of others coming. There's one more left for the Combaticons from Magic Square, so he'll probably be on here in the next couple months at some point. But, I like to show these things off to somebody.
Pretty freaking cool, man. It really is. Welcome to GameFace.
I'm going to move him back so I don't...
Yeah, because you're probably going to elbow him and flip him over the monitor.
This thing is...
It is pointy and sharp.
Would not pass the safety test in the U.S., I assure you.
Yeah.
Also, that thing took 4 weeks to get here. Like, I got stuff from the same company, the same online store, that shipped like a week and a half after him. And I was like, I got a couple of those like on Sunday. And I'm like, where is?
Was it labeled something weird to get around tariffs? Maybe,
but it's big. Because the other ones were like little tiny normal packages, and the other one was 7 pounds.
Big box. That'll do it.
And it was a big box, so it took much longer. And everybody I saw on one of the big Transformers forums is saying like, I think mine's lost in the mail.
Right.
I was like, no, I think Customs is just being a dick about this one for some reason.
I mean, they're being a dick about everything right now.
Oh yeah. Actually, I got my first tariff bill this week.
Oh, really?
From FedEx. FedEx sent me. I have to pay. I ordered an import game from Japan, and it was $65, and I have to pay FedEx a $35 tariff bill for that.
Holy moly! That's half of the cost of the game.
Yep.
More than half.
Fuck you for voting for this, people.
Wow.
I swear to fucking God.
Wow. Holy. It's gonna get bad. It is about to get bad.
And that's just for a fucking video game.
I know.
It's nothing.
It's gonna get bad. Yeah. People are gonna finally see.
Imagine if
people didn't want to listen.
Imagine if it's like a material you need to like make your things you make for your company. Like it's gonna be horrible.
Yep. Well, anyway, welcome to GameFace, your respite from the insanity of the real world, at least for a couple hours every week. We're here at twitch.tv/SiftedGames and YouTube.com/SiftedGames every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. This is our flagship show. We are supported, as you can see down below right there. We are supported at patreon.com/Sifted. Head on over there. That's SIFTD. For $5 a month, you get all our content early. That would absolutely rock. If you can't help us in that way, but you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, help us out with Twitch Prime. All our regulars know how to do that already. In fact, we're about to thank a bunch of people for doing that. But if you're not regularly on our stream, or you're not on Sifted.net a lot, and you're watching on YouTube, go down below in the clip description. There's step-by-step instructions on how to do that. You do have to resubscribe every month, but once you connect your accounts, it literally takes like 3 clicks to give us $2.50. That'd be awesome. And if you have no money, you don't have Amazon Prime, you can still help us by liking this show right now, leaving a comment on this show right now, reviewing our podcast on the podcast service right now. All that stuff can help. Just take a minute to do it. It makes a big difference for us. We'd really appreciate it. Anything that any of you do to help us, thank you.
He scratched the table.
Really?
Look at that.
Oh, wow, he really did.
Like I can't get it
It's
on.
okay. Now it has character, Matt. We had a transformer gouge our table. It's pretty awesome. Just one more note of housekeeping before we get going into the show. We have a great show for you guys. We're going to review Mafia: The Old Country. We're going to share our experiences with the Battlefield 6 beta. And here's a little secret for you. He played it. Yes, when I heard that, I was like, wow, Matt gave it a chance. We're going to talk about our experiences on the Battlefield 6 beta. And I'm guessing that's going to be a great back and forth because it was open and all you guys and girls were able to play it as well. So that will obviously be a discussion between us and you guys because a bunch of you guys played it. We have a bunch of fun topics as well. We have a great edition of the Lightning Round News Roundup today. I think we're going to have a great episode for you guys right here with GameFace episode 446. Let's check in with you guys. See what y'all are up to. Oh, let's not.
No. Do the network connection.
Yeah, I got to send it through the network real quick. Just 1 second, people. It'll literally take 1 second. And there you are. There you are. Let's see what y'all are up to. I already saw a bunch of people giving us Twitch Prime earlier. Oh, here we go. Norix Nessie 94. Thanks. The Surly Mexican. Thank you. Madam in the UK, if you ever need to order anything, I'll gladly buy it here and post it to you. Wow. The problem is most of the stuff Matt...
It's still going to apply.
Yeah.
Like
well,
we'll just get hit with tariffs from
because aren't we...
England.
Didn't he slap tariffs on Europe as well?
Everything.
There's no escaping
but remember,
it.
the UK isn't Europe anymore.
Erebus Jones, are you drinking antifreeze in that mug? No, in fact, I am drinking Gatorade Zero, and this is my very favorite flavor of Gatorade Zero. It's this crazy
antifreeze blue.
It is, yeah. And I can't get it at the store I usually go to, so I will actually venture to other grocery stores to try to find this Gatorade, and I just did, and so that's why I have blue Gatorade today. It's my favorite.
What is it? Arctic Blue or whatever?
I don't even remember. I think it's called like Wild Berry or Raspberry or something like that. But my store doesn't carry it. Others do.
I watched a video about why raspberry is blue.
Why is that?
I don't remember.
It's probably because it's stupid. That's why.
It really does kind of, if I remember right, it does pretty much come down to the fact that there's already too many reds.
And they needed to pick a different color. Holy, wait a minute. Tyler, did you just donate $50, dude?
He did.
And that's USD?
And he agrees with me on weapons, so there we go.
Whoa, Tyler, thank you, man. We're going to read your comment. Weapons could have been so good, but left me feeling like, did not stick the landing, LOL.
No, I agree.
Wow.
And which is doubly weird because a lot of people were, like my horror fan friends were telling me, like, oh, Weapons is like if Longlegs stuck the landing. And all I can say after seeing Weapons is I should definitely not bother watching Longlegs if that's the case. Because, wow.
And I will start calling these comments that we answer super chats, because that's actually what they're called on YouTube. And I was calling them goofy stuff last week. I will start calling them super chats to acquiesce with our YouTube crew. But Tyler, thank you so much, man, for that donation. That is absolutely incredible. JM Rain says Weapons was fun, but it wasn't scary, and it was more humorous than tense. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the big final comeuppance for the villain is actually played as a slapstick scene.
Oh, really?
Which is bizarre for a number of reasons, especially because of what's happening in that scene. I will say this. He might be the exact right person for Resident Evil. He might
slapstick.
He might have that perfect mix.
Camp and
he might have the perfect mix of camp, gore, and arrogance. Because I'll say one thing that I kept thinking throughout the whole movie was like, this guy thinks he's a lot better at writing dialogue than he is. Because you'll have a lot of these scenes where the characters that you've been waiting to encounter each other finally run into each other, and you're like, oh wow, what's this going to be? And it's just nothing. It's just, and especially because the movie's told out of order. Like you keep flashing back to see what another character did during the time that you just watched, kind of thing. And it's very clearly you're just doing it because you've seen Tarantino do it. And it's like, okay. But like, I don't think the movie story would be any different or any worse if you just told it straight.
Yeah.
If you just told the story. It also starts with, I'm not kidding, 5 minutes of VO.
Oh wow!
Like the whole baseline of the story is laid out.
Some hubris going on.
You've seen the trailer with the little girl narrating.
Yeah.
That's the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Oh wow!
And so if you've seen the trailer, you also already know all this. So it's like it doesn't hook you right away. I will say the cast is fucking stacked.
Yeah.
Everybody, the whole cast is 110% the whole way. The cast is amazing. Julia Garner having a great July being in this and Silver Surfer, and she's Silver. In fact, there's a lot. I mean, everybody's in Marvel these days, but there is a moment where Thanos and Wong have a fight in a gas station parking lot while the Silver Surfer runs into a liquor store, and I'm like, what else do you want in a fucking summer movie? Young Han Solo's in there; he's great. And then there's another kid I've never seen him in anything before, but he plays like a junkie in the town, and he's amazing.
Oh, really?
Like, he might be the standout performance just because he's so believable. Like,
wow.
you believe, like there's a scene where he gets high on probably meth or something before he has to call the cops because he's so nervous to talk to the cops, and like he's
on meth.
He's really tweaking through the whole thing. You're like, man, that's so believable. Like, he's so good. Yeah. Like, he must have done major research or something. I don't want to make any accusations of this actor, but like you forget. In a movie full of amazing performances where you're thinking about these actors and how, I really like, Josh Brolin, really great. Everything, all this is really good. And this guy just disappears into the character, and you think that maybe they just found a junkie at where they were shooting, and we're like, hey, can you just do these lines? Like, he's so good. So the performance is amazing. There's just there's no there story-wise. It's a bad. I could come up with 5 better answers to that mystery than what actually happens.
Kevin jokes that Tyler's donation is to help pay for the tariffs. That's funny, but it's actually true.
Yeah,
so
and Tyler's right. The Weapons does have one of the best "what the fucks" in them. That's probably my favorite line in the whole movie.
Yeah.
There's a moment where a character goes, "What the fuck?" and it's like it's just
perfect.
Perfect.
Well, here's the thing: like when we lose patrons from Europe, almost every exit interview or exit comment on our Patreon is F Trump's tariffs. Because people from Europe are like, why do I want to give money to an American company when America is trying to rob me blind? And I can understand that perspective. So I know that was a joke, Kevin, but there's actually some truth behind it. Even our company is losing money over these tariffs. So I don't know who these are supposed to help. Where's all that money going?
Government.
Nobody knows.
Going to them.
$200 billion.
Yeah, it's going to them.
They stole from us.
Yeah, it's all,
and they're just taking it.
It's always a grift. Remember,
it's insane.
Even the thing, like, okay, here.
Unless we don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
But like, even today when they're talking about like fining homeless people or else they go to prison in D.C.
Then they're not homeless anymore.
Right, but what the point there is, you go send them to the private prisons and they're making money for the private.
I know, it's all a scam.
Something Uncle Matt wants you to keep in mind as you watch all this shit unfold. Watch how it shifts because, you know, everyone's like, oh, the cruelty's the point. Like, yeah, the cruelty's not the point anymore. That was to get you used to this.
Now it's the money.
Now it's how do you profit max every single human life under your power without any. It's like, oh, they don't care. No, they don't care because they just, the best way to make a homeless person make money for you as a top level elite is to make them make money in the prison system, to use them as cheap labor. Or
they've already started talking about
get rid of them.
Using prisoners as cheap labor.
Yep.
It's so messed up.
It all comes back to money. Yeah. Always follow the money.
I can't even follow this stuff anymore. It makes me sick to my stomach. It really does. J.M. Rain, thank you for Twitch Prime. I already got Noxatornitis and Surly Mexican and Norix Nessie, thank you. God of Gamblers 33, thank you. Who else we got in here? Just a little pain, Trump said. Yeah, exactly. Any other Twitch Prime? Yep, the Big Smoke 82, thanks. You're awesome. 35 months, appreciate it.
Eric Cartmenez, I did actually shell out $1,000 for a Voltron set. I got that Matty Collector set way back in the day.
Oh, really?
Those giant, they're still in the closet across the hall. Those are, I think those, all 5 of those together were about $1,000.
Wow.
But that was like 12 years ago, longer than that, 15 years ago maybe.
Wow. Ham Chop X, what's up with you, brother? Hope you're having a good day. Thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. Who else we got in here? What's up, Ed Rock? Hope you're having a good week. It's me, Derek D. Yeah, I know you're going to laugh at that because you just played Mafia.
Well, that's a Mario reference, though.
But, I mean...
It's all...
We're going to talk about that.
In a sense, it's also a Assassin's Creed reference.
Yeah, it is. Immortan Joe, thank you for Twitch Prime. Andy T. Monahan, thank you for subscribing at Tier 1. Good evening to you. I like weapons, but I think Barbarian was better, Morton Joe said. iViz, thank you for Twitch Prime. David Nordic, thank you for Twitch Prime. Talimper, thank you. Tons of them in here today. Hilda Starscream, thank you for subscribing. Lynn Jeff 99, thanks. How are you doing, Jeff? Hope you're doing good. AJ the Legend, thank you for Twitch Prime. Hope you're getting primed for football season. I know you are. See if we got anything else. I think that's
say he is ready for the football.
Yeah, absolutely. Mage Slayer 867, thank you for Twitch Prime. And I think that's all of it here. Except now we jump over to our YouTube chat where Finneganni has donated $5. Thank you.
Super chat. Say super chat.
Yeah, super chat. Sorry. I love the show. Been watching you guys for years, but I'm at work all the time. So you have the day off work today? Is that what's going on? You finally got a Tuesday off? I hope so.
Well, you're just saying "fuck the man" and listening
which
to the
I
podcast
also
at work
appreciate.
Anyway.
I'm right there with you, brother. Okay. Thanks everybody for the Twitch Prime. Thank you for the super chats and the donations over on YouTube, man. It really makes a difference for us. We really appreciate it. I think that's it. Oh, one more thing for housekeeping before we go. Next week is Gamescom. Unfortunately for us, our show happens on Tuesday, and that's kind of the day it kicks off. So we're probably not going to actually get to cover Gamescom until a week later. We're going to be a little bit late on Gamescom stuff. That's how it works out sometimes. But if you're a user of SIFTD.net, you know it'll be a big week on the website next week. There is no better place on the internet to go for big-time events than SIFTD.net. We'll have everything there where you can sift it by whatever you like. There's just this big deluge of Gamescom stuff. You're like, this is too much. I don't like most of this stuff. Well, what do you like? You can sort your sift by whatever you like. If you only like first-person shooters, go to that channel. You can see all the first-person shooter content from Gamescom. If you only like Japanese games, go to the Japan channel. You can see all the Japanese games that were shown off at Gamescom. Again, this is stuff only SIFTD does. There's no other website that does it. Although, somebody sent me a message that... what's his name? Colin Moriarty was talking about SIFTD on one of his shows this week. Apparently, there's some other website that's launching now that's SIFTD 10 years later. And Colin, to his credit, remembered us and was like, well, wait a minute. There's already a website that does that called SIFTD. And the 2 other people on his show who are like 21 or 22 were like, well, I don't know what the SIFTD is, so I'm going to like this thing. It was really funny to watch. It's just interesting to see the mindset of people. It's like, oh, this other thing's been doing this already for a long time, and they're probably pretty good at it, but I've never heard of it. But I've heard of this guy, so I'm going to go to this website. It's very weird how the internet works. But anyway, thanks to whoever sent me that.
Your site is old now.
It is. It's a decade old. It's funny that somebody would think that they would launch something like our site now and think it was some unique idea. It's like, bro, where you been?
Right, but you got to make everyone think everything's unique.
You're right.
Now.
Yeah, that's kind of how things work.
People launching Mafia Old Country tried to make you think it was a unique idea.
They really did.
It's called the Old Country.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not new.
But I promise you, if you're looking for the best place to go for Gamescom coverage next week, there's no better place to go than SIFTD.net. It's just the frickin' truth. I'll put our website up against anybody's for events. Honestly, I'll put it up against anybody's for anything at this point because people just don't make websites anymore.
We'll help you hack through all 1,000 Souls likes.
Pretty much.
That they announced.
You're probably right. There'll probably be 30 or 40 brand new Souls likes announced. And it's really crazy. That genre feels like it's really taken over the industry. Anyway, so stay tuned. SIFTD.net for Gamescom next week, and then GameFace the week after. Unfortunately, the way the timing is working out, we're not going to be able to tackle it until a few days later. But by then, at least we'll have the entire lay of the land, and we'll be able to cover the whole show instead of just the first couple days, which is what we've done in the past. So anyway, there you go. That's housekeeping. We're about to review Mafia: The Old Country. But before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor, the one and only LS Cream.
LS Cream is a fine cream liqueur created by fellow gamer and sifter Stevens Charles. It's inspired by an ancestral recipe from Haiti called Cray Mass, and a double gold winner for its original taste at the New York Wine and Spirit International Competition. LS Cream can be enjoyed on the rocks or as a mixer for drinks with its rich blend of fresh cream and neutral grain spirits with notes of coconut, vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg. It's great in coffee or to make espresso martinis. To learn more, discover amazing drink recipes, or to track down your own bottle using a handy store locator, head to creamls.com/sifted. That's creamls.com/sifted.
That's right, people. Go to creamls.com/sifted. That's SIFTD to go to the most awesome website for a liquor you've ever seen. Again, I'm very impressed with the website for LS Cream. It has everything you could possibly need for the liquor. You can figure out where to buy it. You can figure out where to get it locally, where to get it shipped. You can figure out recipes. They help you with great mixers with the liqueur that mix it with other liquors and other mixers. It is an awesome site. It is a great place to get the maximum out of LS Cream once you get your own bottle. So once you get it, I recommend going back there and looking at some of the drink recipes there. They are delicious. Delicious. The type of drinks where you can make it for somebody who doesn't like to drink or doesn't like the taste of alcohol, and they'll be like, this is the best drink I've ever had. I promise you it works every freaking time. Go to creamls.com/sifted. And just a little tip here. We have a surprise coming up for LS Cream in the very near future that I'm not going to spoil. But anyway, there'll be an event happening with LS Cream around Sifted and some other stuff that we're doing in the very near future. So stay tuned for that. Again, go to creamls.com/sifted. And with that, it is time to talk about Mafia: The Old Country, the brand new Mafia game, Matt. It's been, how long has it been since Mafia 3? Feels like 5 years.
I think it's much longer than that.
Has it been longer than that?
I want to say it's closer to 10.
That's really embarrassing for the studio if it took it 10 years to make this game. That would blow my mind.
I remember playing Mafia in my old apartment. Yeah, 2016.
Wow.
9 years.
So this studio, has it done anything since then?
Hangar 13?
Yeah.
I don't think
I don't think it has.
I'm looking.
Well, I'll tell you right now.
No.
First thing I will say is that this is...
I mean, they were involved in the definitive editions in 2020. But yeah, the last thing they're credited with actually releasing is some of the DLC for Mafia 3 in May 2017.
Wow. Well, this is a huge departure from Mafia 3. If you remember, Mafia 3 was basically an open world game set in Louisiana.
Very much that.
Yeah, I mean, it was set basically in present day, or was it? No, it was the
1968.
60s, right? The 60s.
I think it ends up in like the early 70s by the end of it, but it starts in 68.
Yep, lots of social change going on. That was a big part of that game, in fact, like racism and some of the stuff.
This is the first Mafia game where the protagonist doesn't come back from a war. Like the others all. The first one was World War I. The second one, Vito comes back from World War II, and the third one, what's his name? Is his name Tommy?
I don't remember.
Or is that the first one? The protagonist in 3 comes back from Vietnam.
Right, that's right. Yep. Well, this one, the protagonist is coming back from working in a mine.
Yeah, he's an orphan working in a sulfur mine his whole life.
Yeah, it's set in Sicily. It starts in 1904 and goes through the early 1900s, basically. and you play as this guy named Enzo, who has been working in a mine with one of his good friends, Enzo Favara, and they've been saving up money and hiding it inside the mine to basically escape, because they're basically slaves, is when it comes down to it. So they're trying to escape. So they've saved all this money to try to get away eventually. Eventually, the mine collapses, and Enzo's best friend gets trapped and killed in the mine because he goes back to get the money. So the money is lost, Enzo's best friend is lost, and then the whole mine collapses. And basically, the mine collapses, he comes outside, and he finds his boss out there. And the boss is basically just like he ends up becoming the antagonist for the vast majority of the game.
He's a member of a mob group.
And they run the mine illegally. They basically have slaves working in the mine. And what happens is they chase after you, but they end up finding you on the territory of a rival mob gang. And so, as luck would have it, I guess that's a loose use of the word luck. As luck would have it, as you're about to be punished by the mine owner and his mob, the other mob shows up and says, "What the hell are you guys doing on our territory?" Kicks them off of their land, and then takes you under their wing and takes you back and makes you a part of their organization.
Yeah, the Don basically says, "I hate trespassers, but I hate those fuckers even more."
Yeah.
So that was, and of course, it's this. I mean, so the interesting thing about this game, that's probably not interesting. Is probably not the right word. When I saw the trailers for this, my reaction was like, all the gameplay looks really boring, and the story looks incredibly like everything you've ever seen looks really boring too. And I turned out to be half right.
Yeah.
Because the gameplay is pretty boring.
Yeah.
But the story is incredibly predictable. Like, I'm halfway through the story, and I'm pretty sure I could write the rest of it for you.
Yeah.
But it's all performed really well.
Really
like, it's
well.
actually, it's really, really well done.
Yeah.
And so even the fact that you know what's coming all the time, you know all the tropes, you know what's going to happen. Oh, he's proven to be a really good worker, and like, oh, we'll give him a chance to do something. Oh, maybe, well, is he going to be able to kill this person? Do you want to kill? Is he going to do that?
You have to go through all the
that got to
checkpoints.
become a made man. Oh, the girl's flirting with him. Who's that girl? Oh, it's the
Don's
daughter of
daughter.
the Don. Oh, who could have predicted this? But it's all really well. Like, all the actors are really good. All the voice performances are great. The guy doing Don Torino, who's the main Don you're working for, like, he's taking some pages from Brando, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
But he's really good.
Oh yeah,
Like,
everyone is. All the voice
that
acting
character,
in this is incredible.
but that character in particular, him, the visual design, the way they animate and mocap
The
him,
eyes.
he's got this power to him where you're like, I'm not even in this game, and like I don't want to piss him off. Like, you're like, you absolutely see why this man would be feared and respected, and it's very effective. Like, it's all very effective. Like, I'm very interested in what happens. I like Enzo. Like, Enzo's a good kid for the most part, other than the whole murdering people thing. But again, he sort of doesn't have a choice. You know, he's this is where he's ended up, and like they make the villa that Don Torini lives on. Like, it's really appealing. Like, it's you get. I mean, this is part of a staple of Mafia stories, is like, you understand why someone would want to be part of this.
Yeah, well, it's a winery, basically.
It's a winery. It's paradise.
Yeah.
Like, and
so is Sicily, by the way.
Like, well,
Sicily is a character in this game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I was reminded of Star Wars Outlaws a little bit in how immersive the places are.
Yeah.
And how, like, it's just like, if you just love Sicily, like, you should probably play this game.
Yeah.
Even though the characters are really well animated, everything, the character models look great. Everybody is very, the mocap's amazing, facial capture's amazing, the environments are amazing, the world is amazing. Every time, I don't skip the travel most of the time because I want to look at everything. It's beautiful.
I did eventually, but I stuck with it a lot longer than I thought. Yeah.
But like, the characters don't interact with the world very well.
No.
Like, the feet don't touch the ground properly a lot.
The feet also don't touch the water because
no,
you can't swim. And
there's no swimming. Their coats clip through the sides of the cars a lot. Like the characters and the world are two separate things, right down to the fact that there's pretty much nothing to do in the world.
Yeah. If you try to do anything in the world, you're punished for it.
But it is just an astounding recreation of turn of the 1920th century Sicily. Like, it's, if you appreciate that country or that culture or that part of the world at all, like, this game is a visual feast.
And
you can play it in Sicilian.
Yeah, you can.
Like, there's a language setting for Sicilian if you want, but I encourage you to play it in English because the English actors are so good.
Yep. Like every American, I am an immigrant, and my family immigrated from Sicily in the first decade of the 1900s. And so I'm playing this, and I'm like, is this my great-grandpa? Is this my grandpa? Like, is this where we came from? Because they talk this whole game. All they talk about in Sicily is people trying to escape to America. And it was really powerful for me as somebody who came from Sicily, his family came from Sicily, to see what my ancestors were, what they were experiencing, what they were dealing with, why they were probably trying to leave Sicily to come to America.
Yeah,
very powerful.
The sulfur mine thing, plot point, is actually very relevant to the area, because that was Sicily's major export at the time.
The irony is a lot of those people went from the sulfur mines of Sicily to work in the coal mines and the steel mills in Appalachia. In Pennsylvania, Western Pennsylvania.
And a lot of those people still found it an upgrade because at least it didn't smell like
right.
sulfur.
And at least you weren't a slave.
Yeah.
You had freedom of choice. So it's been very powerful for me.
So where did your name come from?
Carini is my mother's maiden name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Satterfield is
Satterfield
German.
comes from the dad's side. Yeah.
I also have a friend is Satterlund.
No.
So I wonder what the difference.
Yeah.
You got a field. He got a whole land.
A lot of families, when they came to America, changed their names. My wife's family did that. Her family's from Poland, and her last name is similar to what they had in Poland, but not the same. Like they altered it just a little bit when they came to America.
Classic Ellis Island.
Yeah. And so this story really hit home for me on a personal level. But to your point, Matt, regardless of the fact that my family's from this time period in this place, they just developed the characters so well in this that you care about all of them. This guy right here that he's gone, this guy that he's riding with right here, you love this guy. By the end of the game, like, he's the father figure. He has a wife, and he talks about his wife, and he has a kid on the way. He's the person who's guiding Enzo towards being an adult.
Yeah, like, I know that like these characters are being effectively portrayed and drawn because I know everybody's name.
Right. And it makes it. You're right. It makes a big difference.
I don't always bother to learn the names of characters if they're just sort of in and out of it. But I know everybody in that plantation.
Yep.
Like, I know that I know Luca's great. Cesare is annoying, but he's his best friend.
Yeah.
Tino is a piece of shit, but like you got to deal with him because he's the consigliere basically.
Right. Yeah. You meet some really towards the end of the game. You start to realize how evil some of the people are in this game.
Oh yeah.
Like.
You get a little bit
hints,
of that.
There are tastes.
There's like the ceremony where they make you a made man, and it's like, oh, this is a cult.
Oh yeah,
that's a huge cult.
Oh yeah.
They just poured blood on a picture of the Virgin Mary and burned it. Like there's some weird shit going on here.
And I don't know if this is on purpose or not, but this game makes the mob life seem so stupid. Like towards the end of the game, or the last half of the game, you're starting to do the big jobs. You're suddenly the big guy in the organization. And they're making you do horrible things. Like, things where you go in and you kill, like, 30 people. And it's like, you. And they send you in there. They think you're going to die. They're like, oh, this is a suicide mission. You need to kill 30 dudes and then kill the leader and get out of there. You go and you do it and you come back. And he's just like, thanks for your loyalty. It's like, no, MFer. What are you talking about, man? I just killed 30 people. Thanks for my loyalty.
I want at least a nice meal.
Shove your loyalty up your ass. Like, and you start to build... you start to question the life. You start to question what Enzo's doing as the player. It is great. The story, plot, voice acting in this, it is very predictable, and I know you probably guessed everything that happens, but it's kind of irrelevant. Yeah. Like, the journey is so good.
Well, once again, here is my innovation versus execution thing. Like, there's no new ideas in this story. Yeah. But it's done almost flawlessly, and that counts for a lot.
It does, yeah. And it is, like, you will guess a lot of the plot twists in this before they happen.
On the flip side, there's no new ideas in the gameplay.
Right.
And it is not done almost flawlessly.
It's really not.
And it's a wonderful... Like, this game might be the best illustration of my execution versus innovation idea I've played in forever. Like, it's... because it's doing both things... Like, half of it's the story part is doing that perfectly right. Yeah. And the gameplay part is doing it rather wrong.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating game.
Yeah, there's Isabella visiting you in the stalls where you're shoveling crap.
Yeah, that's your first
like
meeting with
Don's
her.
Daughter
where you're like,
enamored.
oh, what could be? Well, she thinks he's cute. Right. He's a cute little Italian boy. He is. He's worked in a mine his whole life. Not an ounce of fat on him. Look at that. Look at that, bro.
Yep.
So, I also love that they show the passage of time in part by how his hair grows out.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, okay, it's been a couple months.
That's the only way you know in a lot of cases, because it'll jump forward. You're like, wait a minute, like
it jumps ahead here. It'll tell you what year, because at this point it starts in 1904. Right now I'm in 1906.
Yeah.
But like otherwise you don't have any real indication of. I kind of wanted to see what Christmas was like.
Right. Yeah.
At the vineyard.
Unfortunately, you're not going to get to experience that.
Yeah.
Just spoiler.
Not a lot of winters here. It always does seem very hot.
Yeah. But the plot is all wrapped up in extortion plots, intimidation, union busting.
Well, it's notable that one of the big goals is they want to get involved with America.
Yeah.
Like
because they get the good whiskey coming from America.
They want all that because that's one of the big upgrades they get is they strike a big deal with Empire Bay, and all of a sudden they got new guns, they've got new cars, they've got
cars you have to crank to start.
Yeah, America is where all the good things come from.
Yeah.
Which is again another huge theme throughout the Mafia series.
Well, a lot of the other jobs you do are intercepting shipments that are coming from America. It's a big part of your gig. Counterfeiting money becomes a big part of the second half of the game.
Counterfeiting American money. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like, so those are all the things that you get wrapped up in. Again, very typical mafioso subject matter or whatever. It is very rote in that way, but it's really just the way that it develops the characters and the characters interact with each other, how it builds the drama.
Like, it doesn't think that the Mafia parts are the interesting parts. It knows that the people are the interesting parts.
Because here's the thing. This game is called Mafia, and it's a Mafia game, but this is really a love story.
Yeah.
That's what this plot is about. It's about Enzo and Isabella.
It's a Romeo and Juliet thing.
Yeah.
It's war. I mean, you're not in warring clans, but you are. His life and her life are war because it's the
unrequited love.
She's the daughter. Well, it's not. It's very requited.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
The problem is she's the daughter of the Don, but she doesn't like the life. She doesn't want to be part of that life, and she wants to basically not have that life with Enzo. But Enzo's torn both because he does love her, but also. He does feel like he owes the Don something for pulling him out of that life, but also he likes it early on.
Yeah.
Like before he really gets into the terrible stuff.
Yeah.
Like early on, he's never been part of anything before. He really does feel like he's part of a family. Because that's how they
That's the verbiage that they use. Yep. Over and over again. This family. I let you into the family.
It's so easy to forget that like there's a big moment where like Cesare takes him to Cesare gets him his own apartment after he becomes a made man. Because they've had him sleeping in the pig stalls for a year and a half.
Yep. And he didn't care.
It was better than
what he had before. Yeah. So now we're starting to get into the B-roll that shows actually some of the design of the game. What you're seeing right now is the shop in the game. And I'm going to just pause the B-roll really quickly to kind of explain something. So you may have remembered that the last Mafia game was an open world game. This game gives you the illusion that it's an open world game, but it's really not at all.
This is very much like 1 and 2.
Yeah.
2 is the best comparison here. It's like they built a giant open world, and the story doesn't use it for anything except travel and walk and talk.
Yeah.
And there are a bunch of collectibles in the game, but in order to get them, for the most part, except for the ones that can only be gotten during particular missions, fuck you.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh, I didn't see that, so now I got to go replay. You can replay all the chapters. You got to replay it just to get the collectible, and it's annoying. But you have to go to an explore mode in the replay chapter menu, and it just sets you loose in the world. But the only buildings that are open to be explored are places you've already been to in the story. So if you do it too early, you're just gonna be
riding around empty roads. Yeah.
I mean, there's not really anything to do in the open world. I mean, again, the atmosphere is
amazing,
pristine,
yeah,
phenomenal. But there's nothing happening in the world that you can interact with, really.
Now, here's the thing. Here's why I pause this B-roll. So this is the only shop in the game, basically, where you can go and buy and exchange your collectibles.
There's the guy who fixes the cars,
right?
But
it's redundant with this.
Well, it's also redundant that you can just buy cars in the garage,
right?
Like you don't need to go to him to buy that. You do have to go to her.
So here you can go. You can buy new weapons. Also, if you see to the right there on that table where there's the square icon, you can trade in these trinkets that you collect for upgrades. This is the only place where you can do this stuff. But here's the thing. If you just stay in the campaign and you don't go to that free roam mode in the replay chapters thing, you could not come back here whenever you want.
Yeah.
You have to wait until the game allows you to come back.
Lets you go there.
Yeah. And so you end up planning. You're like, here's what I end up usually going in here with just a ton of resources and coming out a different man.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, you come out, you're like, oh my god, I upgraded.
I got all my stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, here's a little pro tip for you if you have the definitive editions of the other Mafias. If you've played those, it gives you bonus items.
Yeah.
So you get a bonus item for each Mafia 1, 2, and 3 you play. the best bonus item you can get is Vito's 1911 pistol from playing Mafia 2. That is still the best pistol I have. Like, even like all these hours into the game.
Yeah, I mean, look, I finished the game with the base stuff. I didn't even end up spending the money on these crazy, more expensive weapons.
You can also pick up a bunch of stuff during
off the ground.
fights.
Yeah,
like, there's every imaginable type of gun is laying around. Like, you'll be like, there have been times when you're sneaking, there's a lot of stealth stuff, and there'll be times I'm sneaking into the stealth area, and I'm like, okay, and then I'll just like go by an area where like I'm very clearly not supposed to be seen, and I'm like, there's just like 2 shotguns, a rifle, and 3 boxes of ammo just lined up on a table, and I'm like, well, I guess there'll be a firefight on the way out of here, And sure enough, like,
there is.
There's not a lot of subtlety here. To be fair though, if you do go into a stealth area and you get seen, you don't fail. You just have to fight 1,000 men, basically.
There are some sections that'll fail you if they catch you.
There's like early on, but like later on when they're like, okay, go in there and get this guy and don't be seen. There is an achievement for not being seen.
Yeah.
But if you get seen, it doesn't end the sequence. It's not an insta fail usually.
And the punishment for failing or dying in this is minimal. They just set you back at a checkpoint. Yeah. There was a couple times where it seemed a little extreme, where I had to like complete a long drive before I could get to the checkpoint multiple times. But otherwise, the checkpoints are pretty
gentle. It takes a little too long before they start letting you skip those.
In the game, you don't die that much anyway. It's pretty easy. Like, every time I died, it was just some goofy thing where I wasn't paying attention.
And in fact, it starts you with an item that lets you, it gives you, basically it says if you would die, it instead makes you not die and puts you at 0 health.
And I use that for the whole game.
Oh yeah, I've had that equipped since the
it's like, why wouldn't you? Yeah, it makes it so much easier. And now you're seeing knife fights, which are a gigantic part of the game. It's these one-on-one duels. They're usually reserved for like boss fights for the most part.
Yeah, these are the duels of honor.
Right. And it's so ridiculous. There's one...
Like in another world, it would have been sword fighting.
Yeah, well, there's one scene where you're fighting this gang dude, and you pull out your knife, and he throws the shotgun down on the ground, and then pulls out his knife and fights you with this knife instead of his shotgun.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the culture.
Do you really think the people really did that back then?
They did.
They really sacrificed their lives throwing the shotgun on the ground?
Because he's part of the life. It's an honor. I mean, they get into that, and it's
well, that's what I was getting at earlier with the plot. Like, eventually you realize...
If he was like a random thug, probably not.
Yeah.
Enzo probably would have been dead.
Yeah.
But he was another mafioso, so...
Yeah, I mean, again, as you play this game, this whole thing just seems absurd. It's just so dumb. You're like, why would anybody sign up for this life? Like, even if your life was as miserable as Enzo's was, working in a mine as a slave, I don't know that this is any better, because it's just so stupid. It's like, it's just honor is all that matters.
Yeah, but again, it's the fact that he gets that lip service from the Don that makes him feel seen.
Yeah.
And he's never had that before in his entire life. He's an orphan who worked in a sulfur mine.
Yeah.
Like, and that his shitty boss is part of the rival family, so it means that he gets to like actually, and he gets to
exact some revenge.
He gets to humiliate that guy like 4 times in the first
He does
half of the
actually.
game.
It doesn't end.
I can 100% see why Enzo gets pulled into this the way he does on a number of levels.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, it's every Mafia story. It's that thing where like you eventually realize the real down and dirtiness of it, and you either lose yourself to it as a bunch of the guys that you're like working with, and it's always like the same thing where like you have to have the moment where you find the traitor because the protagonist is going to become a traitor later, but you have to see what happens to traitors before you do that. The protagonist, the basic storytelling thing. So you always have to, and the traitor always turns out to be like the guy you thought was the most hardened, loyal dude, because he just can't take it anymore because he's had to do. He's that way because he's had to do such horrible shit for so many years, and you're like, oh, maybe this isn't the way things should be. It's like, I mean, it's so by rote, but it's. And again,
it's executed well.
I have not actually found the traitor yet, so I don't know who it is. I'm in a chapter where clearly the name of the chapter gives away that like, okay, here's where the traitor shows up, but like, I don't know who it is. But I'm like, I certainly have a couple of guesses because like I've seen a movie. Yeah. But it's just like I don't care because like it's so good. Like, it's very well done. It's really well done. Hangar 13. I mean, again, the story stuff in 3 was also really, really good. The problem was you had to play the game to get to it.
And this suffers from that as well.
Yeah, but at least you don't have to do 14 repetitive open world bullshit tasks.
That's true.
The way Mafia 3. I think this is better than Mafia 3. In terms of what you have to do because
in different ways.
The things you have to do take way less time.
That's a good way to put it. You don't have to collect all that much in the game. You get this rosary necklace that you add charms to, and those give you buffs. And that's where that area that we showed you, that shop earlier, that's where you kind of go and buy them. But you can also find charms out in the world. And they do things like what Matt just said. Like, they'll basically give you an extra life when you get down to 0 health, or they'll give you a little buff. Like, it'll help you sharpen your knife more quickly. Because that's another thing in this.
I did not feel like the whetstone took too long in any situation.
But that's another mechanic in this, is that you have a knife, not just for fights. You also use it to unlock doors and unlock, like, little lock boxes or whatever. But they have to be sharp. So you also have to collect these whetstones that you have to use to sharpen your knife before you can use it to lockpick.
Now, to be fair, I have never run out of knife.
Whetstones?
Because I'm using this fancy stiletto that came with one of the pre-order things, so it has like 5 health or something.
Yeah.
And so the knife's health resets every time you go to a new like story section. So I've never really had to, and like you run, and it resets your whetstone and all your inventory to 0 too. So I was like, I don't know why I'm picking up all these grenades. You're just going to take them away from, like, he should have a box full of grenades in his pig stall by the end of like chapter 2.
We also loot enemies, and they tend to give you exactly what you need. If you don't have any whetstones, you'll loot an enemy, they'll give you a whetstone.
You need a bandage, you'll find a bandage.
They'll give you a bandage, yeah. So they kind of mitigate and dole out.
And they give you money. Oh, and that's the other thing that stiletto does, is it makes you find more money on people.
Oh. That's helpful.
Nice. Yeah.
Because money does make a difference.
Or maybe
it's
more
game.
money out of the boxes you break. It's one of those. But I have tons of money, and I don't have anything to spend it on at this point.
Yeah. The knife fights, they play like a Souls-like almost. There's parrying, dodging, riposting. Although it's very simple. The windows are pretty wide.
It feels like a little tightening on that would make them very satisfying, but they're not.
You can base a button or mash your way through them. You don't have to.
I parry counter my way through them. It's just like blind.
You can parry and stab pretty much over and over.
You get a really strong like right bumper hit, and like they're dead. Like, all you got to do is watch out for the unblockable, and it's not an issue.
And the rest of the gameplay is basically, we talked about stealth, we talked about the lockpicking, the driving, the horse riding, and the rest of it is basically Red Dead Redemption 2 gunplay. It uses much worse, but it uses the same mechanic where when you go to aim down sights, it automatically locks onto an enemy, and then you adjust it slightly up for a headshot if you want to, and then it takes a X amount of time for the reticle to shrink until you have an accurate shot. And you can get a charm that will upgrade that, and I ended up sticking with that through most of the game as well.
That's a very good charm. I mean, basically, that charm plus the 1911 pistol you get from playing Mafia 2, plus the single-shot precision rifle, golden.
The combat in this game is kind of a joke.
Yeah.
The enemies are really, really stupid.
Really stupid. They like to take cover with their heads sticking out of the side of the cover a lot.
They love to walk away from you and just stand there with their back turned to you. Like, you can literally just walk through this whole game and just stealth kill everybody.
Yeah.
It gets very repetitive and very annoying.
It's it's a nostalgic time where everyone had giant wooden boxes that hold infinite numbers of corpses.
Seriously,
I was expecting sort of a Hitman thing where you dump a guy in one of the big boxes. I'm like, well, I don't know if I can put another guy in that box. I'll see if I can fit 2 people in a box. And I go over and I open the box is now empty.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, you can just dump people in here forever. It's a fucking singularity.
Yeah. Yep. And that's pretty much it with the gameplay. Like, you have to heal yourself with bandages, and that's pretty typical and to other games how that works.
And it's always your arm.
Yeah,
I think that's very
it always is.
Like every time
from the beginning.
Every time you have to bandage yourself, he just rolls up his sleeves, bandages his arm, and then you've got the bandage on your arm for the rest of that chapter.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure you got shot in the head, dude.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Look, it is very easy. The stealth is like Stealth 101, stealth for kids or whatever. But later on in the game, they do try to make it a little more difficult, and that's when you start to realize that there are shortcomings with like the gameplay and stuff. Like,
well, and then there's like little thing, like one of the things the beads you can use, like makes your thrown objects like attract more people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder what's the point of that.
Ridiculous.
And so I threw a bottle in the middle, and like every guard in the whole area just ran straight to the plaza.
Staring
and
at
I'm
the
like,
ground.
oh, I guess I just walk right into the fucking building you were guarding.
It's pretty ridiculous.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
Like, some of the gameplay sequences feel like they're only there because they felt they had to put gameplay sequences in it.
I kind of feel like the whole game kind of feels that way.
A little bit.
It feels...
A little bit.
We've talked about Metal Gear Solid in the past, about how it's like the separate experiences that are just stitched together with the cinematic, basically. This game is kind of the same way. Like, it feels like there's just, hey, here's a racing part. Hey, here's a stealth part. Hey, here's a gunplay part where
the difference with the Metal Gear comparison is that when you play the Metal Gear games, usually when the gameplay starts, you're like, wait, I'm doing what?
Yeah.
I guess that's interesting, even if it's not particularly fun. This is just like, well, I guess we're doing this again.
Yeah.
Over and over
It
and
starts
over
to
and
get
over.
very repetitive because, again, the enemies are just stupid. Like,
Yeah.
it is so easy to manipulate them with stealth. You don't even have to really shoot most of them. You can just draw them out and just finish them off one by one if you really want to be patient about it.
Yeah, you could also just go past all of them.
Yeah.
I kill them because I like the money you get from searching them.
Yep.
But like, you could probably just never kill anybody.
Probably.
In the sequence
It doesn't seem like they really pursue you all that far outside of their zones or whatever.
And they take forever to see you.
Yeah.
So
Driving engine's good. You don't use it that often. There's one car race in the whole game.
yeah, well, it has to be a car race. It's Mafia.
There's one horse race in the whole game.
At least it's not like Mafia 1 where the race was unwinnable.
Right. Yeah. Here it feels like they let you win.
A little bit. It feels very scripted.
At the end, everybody goes really slow, and you just breeze past everybody and win the race. It seemed like it was.
Well, then
rigged to me.
I did the race, and I was like, I was like really trying. I was really pulling out my Forza skills here. Here we go. Forza, and I'm driving through, and I won. I think I won because they do have a time for it for a reason. And I think my finishing time was like 4:50 or something. And it turned out the achievement for that race sequence is if you finish it in less than 8 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I think I did all right.
Handled that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the engine for that stuff is fine. It's not very demanding. It does feel like it's just like, we want you to do this so you can watch the cinematic when it's over.
The cars can be kind of frustrating because they don't drive very well, but that's accurate to the time. So it's like, you're not driving you're not driving an Enzo, you are driving as Enzo. So just keep that in mind.
And Sicily is absolutely beautiful in this game.
Yeah.
There is an element of the Assassin's Creed virtual tourism in this, 100%. For sure.
100%. Like, you could definitely do like a historical lesson mode like the Assassin's Creed games have been doing.
Like, I didn't even realize how old Sicily is. That there are ruins as old as, like, the Roman ruins.
Romans have been there forever. Like, there's a horrifying thing where, like, you go up to some of these ruins and Cesare starts talking about how they use them for car racing. And, like, all these ancient these are 2,000-year-old Roman pillars, and they've painted them red
to mark the race.
To mark the racetrack. And I'm like, no!
Well, it was like 1903.
1904. Nobody gives a shit about archaeology. It's like, but that's realistic though, and there is an element of that in Europe. Even being there, I've seen people say, it's like, there's a 2,000-year-old castle over there. It's just a fucking thing you got to drive around. It's been there forever. Who fucking cares?
They don't care. But we're like, oh my god.
We're like, it's not.
We have nothing that's older than 300 years.
It's like, we've restored this building to the way it looked 50 years ago. It's like, ooh.
Yeah. And then you can definitely tell there's like some cut corners in the game. Every man in this game walks exactly the same. It uses the same animation.
Everyone gets on a horse exactly the same.
Yeah.
And at one point, there's a section, a very long. There's the painted red. Look at that defacement. There's a section where a very, very, very long section where you ride with Luca and Cesare to like do collections around the town. And every time you'd go back, you get off a thing, you go do the thing, there's some complication, you have to solve the problem, and then you all go back and get on your horses, and we would all they wait for you to get on the horse because you're the one, you're the player.
You need to trigger everything,
trigger it. And when you do it, they all get on the horses simultaneously with the exact same animation. It looks like a chorus line or something.
Well, if you watch them riding beside each other, that animation's identical as well.
They're all identical.
Their legs move exactly the same. And
again, I know not everyone has the time and money of Rockstar, but it's like...
It doesn't even take 7 years to do that kind of stuff, though.
No, well, at least, like...
Stagger it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, rig it so they never are in sync.
Right.
Like,
because that really kind of exposes
it. Or, I don't know, do a second animation.
Yeah.
Of getting on the horse so that, like, you don't play them right next to each other or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe that breaks the budget or something. And everybody has Rockstar's time and money to, like, do individual animations for every character getting, every character in Red Dead Redemption 2 has their own horse animation. Right. Because different people get on horses differently.
But there's other ways to cut corners, like when there's ride-alongs. If you actually pan the camera around and show their faces aren't animated with what they're saying. They're just playing the VO.
Yeah, they are on the ground, but not on the horses.
But
and in the car, weirdly enough, but not on the horses.
Yeah, if you poke around, you start finding stuff like that where they've obviously just shaved a little bit of money and time off of their budget or whatever. But that's just kind of the game it is. And it is a budget game. It's a $50 game. There's other little stuff, like you get in a crazy knife fight, and in the fight you're all bloodied, but then the next cutscene you're clean as a whistle. Like, there's just little things like that. It doesn't go the extra mile and doesn't really have sort of the attention to detail you get. And
well, that's just a gamified thing. But again, in something that calls so much attention to detail in the storytelling and the cutscenes, it is weird that like suddenly everything's gone except a bandage.
Yeah, and you can actually tell that this game is kind of snapped together because some of the checkpoints, it's like you'll drive somewhere and you'll get to the checkpoint, and without telling you anything, like all of a sudden you get shot. Like you run out into the open and you get shot and you die, and you have to get back in the car and drive the car back to trigger the thing again. Like you can just tell that there was the whole was not considered a lot of times while they were building the parts of this. There's just awkward kind of breaks between sections of the game that don't flow and don't make a whole lot of sense. So there's definitely ways that you can tell that this game was not the biggest budget, although it feels like they had plenty of time. But I think probably my biggest criticism of the game in general is how it romanticizes awful behavior. I mean, that's a Mafia movie in general. That's the mob in general.
I don't find that it does, though.
Really?
No, like very clearly what he's doing is not good.
Well, towards the end of the game, like the Dawn starts to lose it,
right?
And
they do that.
Yeah, he starts becoming irrational, and like it just becomes absurd after a while. You're just like, why are people doing this? Like, why is the Dawn doing this? Like, it's like honor is all that matters. Like, rationality, reason, none of that stuff matters. It's just honor. That's it. It just seems ridiculous.
Welcome to men.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, you want to talk about toxic masculinity? Here you go.
Yeah.
The game.
This game is worth playing through just for the story, though.
Yeah.
It really is.
Again, yeah. Even as someone who saw the trailers for this, was like, that looks like the most boring story ever. Like, who wants to follow a bunch of nobodies through, like, Sicily and some mob thing that I already know all the story beats for? No, it's really good. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
It's engaging. The characters are great. You care about them. You care about what happens to Enzo. You're rooting for Isabella to win him over and make him see the light.
And for them to do what they want to do together.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you desperately want Luca to get out. Yeah. I don't think Luca's going to get out.
He's in pretty deep.
Yeah, he's been working for him for 20 years. Like, all these people are in the life beyond anything you could imagine. Yeah. And, in these stories, you generally do not escape that.
Yeah.
But, like, I think it's worth playing through just for the story.
I agree. It really moved me. There were some moments where I got a little misty-eyed in this, and like, I cared about the characters. I cared what was happening to them. I cared about their hopes and dreams and them achieving them. And
this should be. It may not be because I don't think it's going to be maybe high profile enough. This should be on the short list for best writing of the year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, best story of the year as well.
Best story, best act. I would give the Enzo, Isabella, Luca, and the Don all should be in the conversation for best voice acting.
Even some of the bit characters are really, really good. And they've seemed like bit characters in the beginning. They become bigger characters at the end. You start to really realize towards the end of the game who is pulling the strings in the organization. And that's kind of one of the big revelations sort of in the last chapter or the last act or whatever. But you do have to ultimately play it. And here's the thing. I think it took me 14 hours to finish or something like that. It was actually longer than I thought it was going to be. It kept going, and I was like, I wasn't dreading it or upset about it, but I was surprised that it kept going.
I think part of it is they spend a little more time than I would have expected setting everything up and easing Enzo into the life and making you see why it's an appealing
They make you do these menial jobs for 2 hours.
Like, you carry a lot of wine crate. Like, the one thing I will warn people on is I think it's worth playing through for the story, but at the same time, the first 3 hours of this game are mostly talking.
I didn't know if I was going to make it through it.
Walking and talking and talking and this and
riding and talking.
And riding and talking and driving and talking. And there's not a lot of action. It's very character driven. It's very cinematic in the sense that it's about people talking to people, interacting with people. Yeah. And again, one of the things that will carry you through that is just how beautiful Sicily is in this, and how it feels like a world. It feels like and again, especially coming from the sulfur-mine slavery thing, basically, you feel like, oh my god, you're in this weird paradise vineyard place, and that's the thing is it's comforting. You can see it playing as Enzo. You can see how comforting it is to suddenly be part of a system. Yeah, to be part of a thing where you know where you stand, you know where the people around you stand, you know where the people you're interacting with stand, and
if you do right, there's a way up.
Way up, you'll be acknowledged for it. Yeah. There's all your questions have answers. Yeah. That's the important thing. And you know what's going to happen tomorrow, and that's and they spend a lot of time, maybe more time than they needed, establishing how important that is to Enzo. And I don't think it's too much, but I think I think a fair number of people might play this and early on be like, I am bored out of my mind. If the characters don't hook you, you're going to be bored.
Yeah,
I think.
I do think a lot of people will find this game boring. And I think if you find someone under 30 who likes this game, I think they're probably an anomaly.
Yeah, they probably read books or something.
Right. Yeah. I do think the general 18 to 24-year-old gamer probably will not like this game.
No, well, also like I will also say when I was that age, I don't think I appreciated mob stories.
I wouldn't either. Yeah. I mean, I'm not schluffing on you guys or berating you. It's just it's an age thing.
Right.
Like when I was that age, I didn't want to play games like this either. Like it's just not something that you're interested in at that age.
But also, it's not. I'm not just saying games. I'm saying the nature of the story and the nature of a mob story, I think resonates a little more to someone older.
Yeah. Well, you understand loyalty at that point.
Right, but you also understand making bad choices because of how attractive bad things can seem.
Yeah.
Or the mistakes you have to make to get out of the bad place you're in. Or how unreliable older people can be even when they seem like they aren't because you're too young to know what they're doing.
You're
wrong.
naive,
like
yeah.
That, you know?
Yeah.
Like the only legitimately admirable person in this game may actually be Isabella and Luca. And even Luca's done terrible things.
Yeah.
But
there's only shades of gray here. There's,
right.
there's
but
no
even
guys.
then, you know, and there's a little hint there, and I don't think someone much younger would see it. The fact that when you're going around with Luca, he's having you and Cesare do all the nasty shit because he doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, because it's been weighing on his conscience for 20 freaking years. He has a kid and a wife, and he looks at things completely differently. I mean, that's another thing that I think you have to be a little bit older to appreciate, how your life changes and your priorities change as you get older. Suddenly you're not worried about going out and carousing around town all the time.
Well, because there's a point at which, you know, because Enzo sees this as a future. Enzo sees this as like, oh, I can move up in the world, I can be respected, I can be part of something. And there's a point as you age and gathers things that matter to you that you realize that that's not that this future that this life offers is not a future for that thing anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like you can only progress so far. It's kind of a young man's game.
Yeah, for sure.
Which they even talk.
Because everybody dies eventually.
Right.
So
very early on when you're first out with Luca, and he's like, "Oh, you can ride better than I can horses," and Enzo says, "Riding horses is a young man's game," and Luca says, "None of this is a game."
Yeah.
And it's like that's huge foreshadowing.
Oh yeah.
For what's coming.
Yeah.
Well, but Enzo would never understand that even if you said it like straight.
Right. Well, Luca, if you remember, the night that he gets made and he's finally welcomed into the family, and they all get hammered drunk, Luca's the one who quits early.
Yeah.
He's like, you'll see when you get to my age and you have a wife and a kid that you can't be out drinking until 8 in the morning
Luca's
anymore.
also the one who's a little sad about it.
Yeah.
He's a little he looks at Enzo with like, I've been where you are and I know what you're about to go through, and this is not entirely a celebration.
Yeah. Yeah. It's again, you have to
the
really.
The nuance is really good. Again, it's Hayden Blackman. I think is he still at Hangar 13? He founded that, right? Like he's always been one of the best writers. In games, and I'm sure he's involved here because the character nuance has his writing all over it, or his influence, even if he's not the one who actually wrote it all. It's just, you know, again, it's always nice to have some of these studios that are run by writers who like value that part of the game.
Absolutely. But these are the type of things that I feel like a player is going to need to appreciate to really like this game.
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, you are probably going to find it boring and repetitive.
There's part of me through this where I was like, maybe there's another universe where this should have been a walking simulator. Like just a narrative game.
I mean, there's definitely strong Red Dead vibes in this, where there's a tedium to it. There's
That's what I was thinking is like if Rockstar made this, obviously there's like the gameplay would probably be a little tighter, but if Rockstar made this, because I just played through Red Dead 2 again last year, and like the first 4 hours of that game, nothing happens.
It's kind of similar.
You're just trudging through snow half the time. It's just fucking boring.
It really is.
And it's only interesting because you're interested in the characters.
Yeah.
And like, you know, if Arthur wasn't so compelling, you would just be like, fuck that. You know.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Premise, but again, like Rockstar gets a pass on that, and I wonder. I mean, I haven't looked at reviews for this. I don't know how it's doing.
It's all over they're all over the place.
Because I think what you value.
IGN,
is really
I read one review where basically the entire body of the text was like, "There's nothing new or unique in this game," and then they gave it an 8.
right.
So it's
like I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
But also, like, if someone was like played this and like was looking at it more as like a game over a story and gave it like a 4,
I would
probably agree with that too.
Yeah.
Like it's like both of those takes on this game are valid.
Yeah.
Very valid.
Absolutely. Yep.
So like it's kind of what you value more in the end.
I agree. Let's check in with chat. Some of you guys may have played this. I mean, this franchise actually has some fans, you know. It's built a pretty big fan group across the years.
Yeah, Raphael Michael says that is it worth playing this game because I know all the story beats? Absolutely. Yes. Like I knew all the story beats of this game at the instant it started, and it's still worth it because it's all so well done.
Noxiator United says it's okay. Columns used to be painted anyway, and they're Greek ruins. Wait, they're Greek ruins in Sicily? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, I mean the Greeks were over there.
I actually didn't know that. I have not been to Sicily. I've not been to my homeland. I've been to Italy twice, but I've not gone to Sicily. You're going to be able to skip cutscenes in the new game plus, right? That's actually a good point. You can't skip dialogue or cutscenes in this.
You can.
How?
You can skip cutscenes. I don't know if you can skip like dialogue.
Yeah, you can hit start and skip the cutscene.
Start and you can skip cutscenes.
But if you're like talking, I hit every button, clicked every stick. I could never.
It depends on the scene.
Yeah, I could never get past the dialogue and just fast forward it.
If you can skip like a in-game scene, it will have a little D-pad thing that says hold right to skip the cutscene.
I honestly didn't feel that was a negative because I didn't want to skip it. I thought the writing was great and the voice acting was great.
But I mean the point they're making like is you want to be there is no new game plus, but you can replay all the chapters to get the stuff you missed, and you are definitely you're definitely just going to skip the writing scenes in a couple of those just to get to the part where you can get the collectible you missed.
Yeah,
it's pretty friendly in that regard.
AJ the Legend Watson asked, do you feel this developer could put out something truly special, or have they reached their peak with the Mafia series? Well, they've kind of gone backwards with this game.
I don't think Mafia needs to be an open world GTA experience. Like there's room for games like this, like a linear adventure story driven game that has some, but I would encourage them to back off the open world stuff. Like I don't need to explore around and pick up useless trinkets for however many hours. If you could instead spend that time making the gunplay feel better.
Yeah.
You know?
If you try to play this like a GTA, you're going to think this is the worst game you've ever played.
Yeah, this is not an open world
This is not
game.
GTA. I know it looks like Red Dead. It looks like GTA. It is not. Don't go into this thinking I'm just going to go swim across the lake. That's not this game.
Yeah, you got to think of Sicily in this game as a giant stage.
Yeah.
In the same way that you can't just like get up on stage and go see what's behind the curtain.
Yeah.
You can't do that in this either unless you're playing Explore mode, and Explore mode is very sterile.
Yeah.
Like the problem with Explore mode is there's nothing to do. Like there's no races, you just can go around and pick up newspapers and mysterious foxes and things like that, and there's not the world is more interesting in the story scenes because there's bustling and movement, and you're delivering wine through the village. Everybody's moving around and talking to each other and doing their own thing and running their stall. Again, Star Wars Outlaws is my closest comparison in recent memory. Is like just seeing all this life and all this movement is really cool. As long as you don't think about the fact that you can't impact it at all.
Yeah. Yep. Nightwing 3060 asks, how's the soundtrack?
It's good.
Good.
Very good.
Very period piecey.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you would want. It could have been pulled from a mob movie, and I would not know
100%.
any difference. It's really good.
A lot of opera. I think it does have like kind of an old worldy take on the Mafia theme, because I think the Mafia games have always had good music.
Yeah, I agree.
The Mafia 2 theme, main theme, is really good.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I remember it.
Yeah.
A Controller's End says adding this to the top of my playlist. Yeah, I mean, again, if you listen to what we said about it and that resonates with you, you're gonna like the game a lot. What else we got here? A lot of people talking about what it was like living back then. People have honor here. It's not like Indy pulling out the revolver. Cinetype said.
Also, remember, like one of the it's that Omerta thing, but it's also like if you kill this guy who is one of Don Torini's men, you're gonna it's gonna escalate. You don't really want to kill each other because like it's just gonna cause more problems.
Yeah. Swan Senpai says, as someone who doesn't watch TV, nothing is predictable for me. Oh, lucky you. Don't watch films either, I guess. Again, as always, folks, if you have a question for us about stuff, always go at Sifted Games. AJ was another question. Better story, Mafia the Old Country or Expedition 33? That's a good one. I still have not finished Expedition 33, so I'm going to reserve my opinion on that until I do.
I did finish Veilguard this week.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, finally.
Up or down from where we talked about it on GameFace?
About the same.
Yeah.
Like, the thing about that game that I thought was most interesting, not interesting, but the thing that struck me the most playing it and trying to finish it out was just how much I didn't care about finish. Like even the Dragon Ages I didn't like. There was always sort of a drive to finish what was happening because I was like, well, I'd like to see what happens, or like this. There's an urgency to what's going on, and I never really felt that with Veilguard. Like it was,
but you did.
I did because I wanted the 100 gigs back,
right,
from on my hard drive. I just wanted to be done with it, and I did. I got all the achievement. Everything's done, like 100%. I may or may not ever play that again, but like I don't know. And I like all the characters in it for the most part, everything. But it's just there's just this lack of urgency and drive to that way that game unfolds itself, and I don't quite know how to put my finger on it. That's not really something that's wrong with it, but it didn't
put you on high alert.
No, the idea of like going, I mean, even like at the end, it was just, everyone's sort of like, I mean, I guess it's a little bit of like Marvel quippiness, where it's like everyone seemed to deal with the end of the world rather well.
Yeah,
I guess there wasn't a lot of like despair happening, and even when
I feel like across all pop culture,
even when there was like you'd go talk to someone for 5 minutes and like, yeah, I guess steak really does taste good, and that's a reason to keep going. It's like, I guess, but like, we're about to go fight 2 elven gods. Like, there's not much, like a night out at Applebee's is not going to solve that.
Cinetyke says, with as gorgeous and detailed the world was made, do you think we'll see DLC with more missions in the future? As somebody who finished the game, no.
I mean, you could do like DLC that's like, where you play as like Luca coming up. Like, you could do prequel
stuff? Yeah, that would be about it, though.
Or like side stuff with Cesare. Or like,
Cinetyke says he finished it. Then you should know that it's pretty difficult to do.
Well, you could always just do more stuff during the. I mean, there's a lot of gaps in the timeline.
You could fill in little. What was going on while he was doing this?
Right, you can play stuff with plays Cesare during the gap years, or like things like that.
Yeah. Noxator United says, I've been there. Make sure you go. Talking about Sicily, I guess. I would love to, but I'm getting older, and like I really got to start being really careful about which places I choose to go, because I'm not going to be able to go. Probably before I die, I'm going to take another 5 trips, like big time trips. In Africa on safari is definitely one of them. So I really only have like 4 others to really choose from.
Also, you don't want to go back to some old vendetta.
No.
that's held for 120 years over there. Why did your ancestors leave
That would be
Sicily?
hilarious if I go to like check out our old house or some like 80-year-old dude hanging out there. I've been waiting for you. The Abram says Expedition 33 is the best story that I've played in like 10 years. It's really good. Yeah, but we're also telling you like this is also really good. So
it's not as like, oh my god, I mean, obviously Expedition 33 has more originality to it. It's pulling from all kinds of sci-fi and fantasy stuff. It has an anime tradition. It has a sci-fi like fantasy manga French spin on thing. Like there's like
very
a dark
unique
fantasy thing. There's cosmic horror in it. Like there's a lot more happening there in terms of like influence and what they're attempting. There's a lot more ambition in what Expedition 33 is doing. But Mafia is sort of we took a very standard, like proven story, and we just did it really well.
This is what I'm drinking.
What is it? Arctic Freeze?
Arctic Freeze.
Yeah.
No, Cool Blue. That's what it's called.
That tells us even less.
It really does. So should people buy it? It's $50. It feels like it's priced right. Maybe it should be a little cheaper. Maybe 40.
40 would maybe be, but again, like the visual fidelity is probably pushing your price a little higher there.
Yeah, it's priced about right.
I don't regret buying it.
Yeah.
Like I again, if you like this kind of story, this is probably the best mob story since Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Like Like, there's not a lot.
It's not as easy as you think, because there have been bad mob movies.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Like, maybe there's a couple in the last 20 years I've missed, but I mean, there's not. You don't see a lot of like legit mob movies anymore, just because no one wants to compete with The Godfather and Goodfellas.
You're always going to be compared.
Or Casino, or thing, you know, like that is the subject matter for some of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
So it's like, would you just like to set the bar at the top of the mountain and like see how you do?
See how close you get?
You see why people make horror movies, because it's just like, fuck it. You know,
The bar's so low.
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes sense.
It's like, you're probably going to be able to come up with Terrifier more easily than you're going to be able to come up with The Godfather Part 4, right?
Speaking of camp, Terrifier is starting to get a little campy too. Like,
A little bit.
I feel like it kind of had to, because it just got so depraved.
Oh, it got so weird. Yeah, you got to take, either you take it even worse or you take it in. But I think, again, the big point of Terrifier is to make money.
Right.
So like, if you make him like a Freddy Krueger, more clownish figure, no pun intended.
Right.
You're gonna get more mass
Bigger
appeal
audience.
from it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go to Halloween Horror Nights? Because they have a Terrifier.
I'm thinking about it, actually. I've never gone to one of those things.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
I don't think. Well, we did the Silent Hill maze that one year, but it wasn't like we didn't go to Halloween Horror Nights that night. It was just like you got to go and do the.
I've gone to haunted houses and stuff, but never like a big theme park thing.
We did the Fan Fest stuff in May, I think it was, which is like they're trying to basically do. They make so much money on Halloween Horror Nights that Universal Studios wants to have like a something in the other half of the year that they make money. So Fan Fest was basically like they did a bunch of like. Sort of, they were not as elaborate as the Halloween ones, but they were like, you know, you go to different experiences. They had a D&D one, which was fun. They had a life-size Beholder animatronic, which was pretty cool. They did a Star Trek one where you got to stand on the bridge they recreated of the Enterprise D from Picard, and they did a little skit and stuff. It was cute.
Yeah.
They had, the big thing was, you know, if you've been to Universal Studios Hollywood, they have, you know, one of the big backlot sets there is the town square that is most famously the town square of Hill Valley from Back to the Future, but it's been, you know,
I just saw a commercial with it 2 weeks ago.
It's in everything.
It's so funny. If you go there and you see this little town square, if you watch TV for the rest of your life, you will just see it over and over in commercials. It's crazy.
It's the town square in Gremlins. Anything shot on the WB lot. It goes back to the 50s.
It's really crazy.
But they redid the whole. You took the tram out there and they redid the whole thing up as Hill Valley. Oh, cool. And they acted out the final act of Back to the Future. Like
That's awesome.
They had like the high school area, and they did the whole song. They did, the band came up and played all the songs, and they acted out the whole thing, and then they did Johnny Be Good, and then Marty has to run off the stage and run over, and like they go over to the dock, and they got like a projection up on the thing, and they do the whole like escape at the end, playing the music. It was great. Yeah. So I mean, if you see Halloween Horror Nights and you're like I'm interested in that brand, that IP they're doing, you're probably not going to be disappointed if you go. You're at least going to be like, it's going to be given an amount of attention and love that you're going to appreciate as a fan of that thing.
Fair enough.
I would argue that it's probably worth doing. But if you do go, and this is to everybody, it's expensive, but get the VIP pass.
It's worth the extra money.
Because you skip the line.
Oh.
Do not go if
without
you don't
VIP?
get the VIP pass, because otherwise you're waiting 4 hours for some of this stuff.
Forget that. That's not happening. All right.
Get the VIP pass.
That's it for Mafia, the Old Country. That's 2 buys from us.
Yeah, I mean,
not
again, you have to use your judgment in terms of what we're talking about of story versus gameplay. If you're a very, very gameplay first person, you do not give a shit about story. It's not going to do anything for you.
Yeah.
If you want a really,
I still enjoyed it though as a gameplay first player though.
Yeah, but you also appreciate like production value and storytelling in that regard. I mean, but I know there's people that just don't want that from a game in the same way. Yeah. You know, or if you think mob stuff is boring, or if you want action. You know, this is not Heat. No. You know, this is a much more folded in kind of like internal drama in a lot of ways. Yeah. Which is again a throwback to those old 70s filmmaking stuff, and I appreciate that. If you don't appreciate that, there's nothing wrong with that, but you may not want to throw $50 at this. Also, I feel like this is going to be $20 pretty quick.
Probably. So. Yeah. It doesn't seem like a lot of people are talking about it. Our chat, I don't think anyone in our chat actually played it, did they?
Well, Cinetike played it, I thought.
Oh, Cinetike, yeah. But he may be like the only one. No one else has seemed like anyone else
I haven't seen a lot of chatter.
No, the internet's not ablaze with...
not ablaze with the Old Country.
It's definitely not.
But it really, I mean, and also, I guess, if you are a big fan of Sicily.
Yeah.
I don't
all
think,
10 of you.
I don't think there's ever been a more impressive recreation of turn of the century Sicily than in a game than this.
That's accurate.
Which is maybe not saying anything, but like, I mean, you've only been to Sicily one other time in the Mafia series.
Yeah.
And the tutorial of Mafia 2 takes place in Sicily when Vito is in World War II.
Yeah.
And that was funny because I was like, because at the end of that scene, the fighting stops because this tank rolls in with the local Don, with Don Keil comes in and with a megaphone is like, you know, basically. Vito's narration says that day the fighting stopped because Don Keil told them to stop because that's how powerful he was as the Don of that area, maybe of all of Sicily, I think. And I was like, well, maybe you'll see him in the old country as a younger man, and that'll be like the connection.
It might be in there somewhere.
Well, here's the thing. I looked some of that up because I'm like, what was it like? How old that would have been, or like, you know. So Don Keil is the only real person to ever appear in a Mafia game.
Oh, wow.
That was a real man.
Oh, wow.
Who really did that. Like, I read as a real thing that happened.
Wow.
A Don Keil went out and basically said, you idiots need to stop fighting and I'll make it worth your while and you'll be rewarded for it. And all the Sicilian soldiers knew who he was, knew how powerful he was, and basically told all their commanders, like, yeah, we're not
fighting. We're done. Like, wow. That's crazy.
Which is, again, that's how Mafia 2 opens with that to show, like, that's what real power is.
Yeah.
And that's why Vito gets involved in it life back in Empire Bay, is because, you know, he recognizes that that's the path to that.
Yeah.
And weirdly, it turns out rather poorly.
Yep. All right, well, there you go. That's Mafia: The Old Country. Is for PC, PS5, Xbox Series for $50. And just listen to our discussion. If what we said about the game resonates with you, go out and get it. It'll be worth $50. All right, we're about to share our experiences playing the Battlefield 6 open beta. But before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor, the Repair app.
Cracked phone screen, stuck zipper, busted bike, borked HDMI port, persnickety PlayStation? Don't toss it, boss it with the Repair app. The mission is to build a world where repair is the norm, not the exception. Snap a pic, describe the issue, and find local pros ready to fix it fast. It's not a marketplace, it's a movement that saves your stuff, your sanity, and the planet. No fees, no credit cards, no data collection, no stress. Just fast and fabulous fixes. Track your items and the repairs, log warranties, build a repair history, and become the hero your stuff deserves. Fight landfill guilt, save some cash, and support local business all at the same time. And best of all, it's free. Join the Repair app waiting list today at therepair.app and be among the first to get access. Fix it, keep it, repeat, because trash is so last century.
We're getting close, people. We're only about 6 weeks away from the launch of the Repair app. The first part of our promotion, working with the Repair app, is us getting you guys to sign up. So go to therepair, TheRepair.app. Give them your email address, and you'll be alerted as soon as the app goes live. But the plan is, first 3 months, we get people to sign up, and then at month 3, the app launches, and then we get you guys using it. So head on over to therepair.app, give them your email address. You'll get alerted when the app goes live. You'll be one of the first people to be able to get your stuff repaired locally by people that you may even know. So it's great to really help your local community, your local economy. There's so much good stuff about it. If you're just someone who really likes the idea of not putting a bunch of stuff in a landfill anymore, the Repair app is for you as well. There's a great eco angle to it. There's a great way to save yourself money and keep from wasting money on things that you already spent money on. Go to the repair.app, sign up, be one of the first people to use it, start getting your stuff out of the closet so you can be ready to go when it launches, because it's coming in about 6 weeks. Go to the repair.app. All right, now we're going to talk about something that we talked about last week, which was Battlefield 6. But we were just using information and stuff talking about it then. Now we've actually played the game. And Matt, I just want to say I'm very happy that you gave Battlefield 6 a chance.
It wasn't easy.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't, actually. I was pleasantly surprised to hear that you gave it a try.
I had to go into the BIOS and activate secure boot and like do
Oh,
all.
really?
It wouldn't start without it.
Really?
Because of the anti-cheat stuff, and then there's fucking aimbots everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, like why even bother? Why even like you made me go into my fucking BIOS and figure this thing out and change all this shit around and load it up and granted it outloads, and the first thing I see is somebody kill 5 people in one shot. It's just, it's very silly.
I think they did clarify, though, that the bots are only used for that very first match.
No, I mean aim bots. Cheating.
Oh, you mean cheating. Oh, I think you're talking about the bots, because it came out that first match that you play is all bots.
Not for me.
Even though they use fake real names or whatever.
No, I got my ass kicked.
Oh, really? I think they're bots.
They were not. You know, they were talking shit.
Really?
Yeah, there were people like using slurs in the chat. I don't think I was in.
Because people, no, definitely not.
There were bots in there for sure.
Because people accused them of filling matches with bots if they didn't have enough humans.
No, I think they do that.
And so EA said, no, we don't do that. But the first match that you play is bots.
Well, the bots were saying some really mean things to each
other. Interesting. That's definitely not a bot. I mean, they're not going to say racial
I would
slurs.
imagine. I mean, they were being blanked out, but I feel like that would not be the way you would program that.
Yeah. I saw somebody mention something about time to kill, which is acronym is TTK. A lot of people have been complaining that the time to kill is too short and it's too much like Call of Duty, but I had the opposite experiences. I feel like I'm like filling people with lead and they just run away and don't die. Like, I felt like a lot of the times my bullets just weren't making contact with enemies for some reason.
I didn't notice that, but like my main thing was like they have not solved the problem of like you spawn over here, run forever, and then like you get killed and have to do it again. Like, especially because like you can't respawn on squads when they're in combat. So if they're in there, it's like, okay, I guess what. Also, this kept happening where I was in a squad. And one member of the squad was just sitting by the starting HQ,
just waiting
and never moved. Like several matches, one of our squad members was sat back there and literally never moved. Mm-hmm. And he got like 20 kills.
Yeah,
like, it's.
I mean, to
like,
be honest,
I recognize it's a valid strategy, but it's just like fucking stupid.
If you want to have a nice KD in this game, that's the only way to go. Is to take the vehicles into battle, because it's crazy. Like, if you have a tank or you're in a chopper, you can literally get like 20 kills per life. Mm-hmm. If you're just an infantry person running on the ground, I like and play in this game.
Or if you're me, you can just flip the chopper over and blow up.
Right.
That's mostly what happened there. I gave up on trying to fly the chopper.
I had the same experience as you, Matt. For the most part, I just kept playing infantry that would run. Like, you can spawn on any point your team has holding, and so you don't have to... You don't have to run 2 miles every time.
Sometimes it works, but sometimes it's just you get on those streaks where you're just not getting anything done, and like, or it spawns you like right next to the thing. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna jump in here. It's like boink. And you're like, okay.
It's like,
I mean, there's no respawn time really.
No, you'll never get shot in the back as much as you will playing Battlefield.
I will say I'm impressed by how many people do revive you.
Yeah,
people are pretty good about that.
Eventually, as I played this more, I felt like an ant on the forest floor with a bunch of humans walking around, where it's like there's this spider and this scorpion down here at ground level that I need to deal with. I don't have time to pay attention to the big ass human that's about to step on me and kill me. And that's how I looked at the snipers in this game. It's like, I have to worry about fighting this infantry dude that's 10 feet away. I don't have time to look over my shoulder on some ridge where there's 5 dudes sitting there with sniper rifles. And it's like, it just turns into the same thing. You're just getting killed by people you never see. Respawn, run into the battle again, hope you fire a couple bullets before you get sniped by a sniper again. By the end of the weekend, it had devolved right back. The snipers had figured out the spots that they could sit on, that nobody would ever spot them, and it just had become the same Battlefield that I always played. Now, we sold my wife's car this week to somebody, and the person who bought it was in their early 20s. And they were like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I review video games or whatever. He's like, oh, you've been playing Battlefield 6? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, what do you think about it? And I was like, well, honestly, as somebody who's played every Battlefield when they came out, because I'm way older than you, I feel like it's just Battlefield 3 all over again. And I think a lot of people will like that. And people like you won't even know it's going back to Battlefield 3 because you never played Battlefield 3. And he's like, I think it's awesome. He's like, I think it's like the best shooter that I've ever played. And I'm like, I could see why someone like you might think that, because you haven't played a lot of these games.
I think what you describe about feeling like an ant is accurate, but I think that's important because that is kind of a thing that Battlefield has always done at its best, is made you feel like this, like it feels a little overwhelming at times. And I don't think the other shooters really do that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a different feeling playing this game versus playing like the last several Call of Duties or even the last couple Battlefields. The thing I was most struck by playing this game was that they really got the scope right again. Like, and I feel like they haven't done that in a while. You say Battlefield 3, 100%. Feels like playing Battlefield 3 again, and I don't mean that in a negative way.
No, Battlefield 3 was great. I had a ton. I can't tell you how many hours I played Battlefield 3 multiplayer.
There was
dozens and dozens of hours.
There was one match where we ended up in it was a huge fight over this one building that was in the range of whatever the conquest point was, and just the building was coming down around us. People were running up the stairs, trying to get up the stairs. There was a point where one part fell down, and we had to jump across to get back to where the fight was, and like shoot down that. And like eventually we held them off, and at the end, like the building was barely standing, and like and it was great.
Yeah.
Like there's like 5 different kills in that sequence that I can specifically tell you about individually.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the last time I played a shooter where I felt like that.
I mean, flying in a chopper in this and gunning people down or in a tank, blowing stuff up, it feels great.
I'm terrible at this game.
Yeah.
Like the first person shooter reflexes are gone. Like I haven't played these in so long.
Yeah.
But it was nice to be in Battlefield again. And even having played recent Battlefields, this feels like Battlefield in a way they didn't.
It does. And look, if you are lucky enough to get a tank or get a chopper, and there's literally like a dozen people standing like waiting to try to like take them as soon as they spawn. But if you are lucky to get one, it is damn fun. Rolling through these environments in a tank, just blowing buildings up, man. Even if you're like one of the smaller gunners in the tank and you don't have the main cannon, it is still fun. And you can actually get kills before you get sniped by somebody. But even with the tanks, like I feel like the balance is pretty good. Like there's so many engineers, and they give them what, like 6 rockets per spawn. So it's not like you can just go through the whole map and kill everybody with a tank. Like there are enough engineers with enough rockets that I was actually kind of surprised at times how quickly our tanks got wiped out. But if you go back and spawn back where the tank spawned, there's 30 dudes standing there waiting to get in that tank. And it's like, in each match, I maybe got 1 tank. Or maybe just 1 vehicle, period, the whole match. And that's the fun part. The unfun part is being infantry and just dying over and over again. Again, I really felt like my bullets were like just didn't exist. There were so many times where I just shot somebody point blank and they just looked at me and turned and ran away and lived. I'm like, what in the hell is going on here?
I did not have that experience. I mean, granted, I didn't feel like I was getting killed weird very often.
Oh yeah.
There were a lot of times when you do that thing where you come around a corner on somebody and you're both like, fuck.
Yeah.
I won that fight more often than there was a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I killed him. I did. And it was. I mean, again, I don't know how much of that. I mean, this is the first time I've played a competitive multiplayer shooter on a PC with a mouse and keyboard in I don't know how
that
long.
Makes a big difference.
So maybe that's a difference because I was like,
it makes a huge difference.
I just want to see what it looks like on my PC.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it looks amazing.
I can't even imagine what it looks like on your PC.
Just incredible.
Because it looks amazing on my PS5, my base PS5.
I don't think it looks that different. Really.
Oh, really?
There's some shading extras, but like in the most part, I think they've just sort of.
It just looks great on everything.
Just tuned this to look great and play fast. I mean, there was no issues, no performance issues, no nothing.
What blows my mind is that if you watch like all the footage from Battlefield Labs and all the alpha tests and stuff, how buggy the game was and how stuff is just disappearing and appearing. It looked like 2042. This beta, rock solid, man. There's none of that stuff going on. Like,
no, it's very technically solid.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
And there's just moments where, like, I'm very pleased with how some of the interaction works, and like, I guess it's partly because people have played this so much that they know how things work. But I was impressed by how many people work together.
Yeah,
there was a point where I was down in the middle. We're getting hit by these tanks. And somebody was like calling out, like, we need air support, and suddenly
the air support.
Here comes these jets. Like the 2 jets come in and they just unload hell, like basically like these air to ground things, and they blew up all the tanks that were holding us down. And like you saw all these people even do the emotes of like, like that. It was like a fucking trailer.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Like, it was and
that doesn't happen anywhere near enough.
Much, no, but it's one of those things where it's just like, God,
when it does. It feels real good.
I associate that with Battlefield so strongly.
Yeah.
And again, that kind of thing is why I actually bothered to play this. Was like it felt like they were getting it right.
It seems to me that the biggest complaint.
And they did.
Yeah.
I think they did.
It seems to me that the biggest complaint that everybody has with this is that the classes don't matter.
Yeah.
And I can see that now that I've played it. Like, we talked about it a little bit last week, but now that I've played it, I can see that because you can put any gun.
Put anything on everything. There is a mode. There is like a play mode where everybody's locked to their class weapons, but nobody plays
it. There's no one in there. It took like 20 minutes to get a match. But otherwise,
but isn't that more fun to be able to mix and match your character into whatever you want him to be?
I think the bigger issue is not necessarily that any class can carry any gun. It's that you only need like one attachment to take all the recoil away from a gun.
That's true.
And so all the guns feel the same. They're all like shooting lasers. They're all on like on a rail. Like there's no recoil when you shoot. There's no accounting for recoil. There's no accounting for rise. Once you attach like one or two things to your gun, it's just rock solid.
Well, I had like issues also with like switching. I switched to engineer at one point, and like that little submachine gun you get, I just couldn't get anything done with it.
Yeah.
But then I realized I unlocked like I think it was an M4 or something. So I just equipped I equipped an assault rifle to the guy. I'm like, oh, that's better. That's just like playing assault, except I can also repair vehicles.
Well, you can also like take your assault rifle and then get a crazy gigantic magazine, and it's like an LMG. So there's really, I mean, I kind of agree that there's very little point to the weapons in the game. Like they all, after you use attachments and things like that, they all end up kind of handling and shooting the same. Now you cannot put that stuff on there if you want to tie one hand behind your back and make it harder on yourself, but who's going to do that? Like who's going to just be like, I want it to be realistic, so I'm going to make it hard for me to shoot. Like
yeah, the one thing about this I would say is like if you want to get into this game, I feel like you're going to have to get in on launch day.
Yeah.
Because there's going to become a point like 3 or 4 months in where everyone's unlocked all this shit and they're all the same, and you're going to be working at a disadvantage.
I already felt by the end of the weekend that's the way it was. Like I went to play late on Sunday night, and like I only made it to like level 7 or 8 or something like that before
I don't remember what I did not unlock any of the beta stuff to unlock, because like there's all these things you can unlock for the fun, like skins and stuff. I didn't get any of those.
Yeah, I only made it to like level 7 or 8. I didn't play a ton because I'll be honest, like it felt the same. I just felt like I was playing Battlefield 3 again. It looks a little better and runs a little better. The destruction obviously is better, but generally it felt like I was playing Battlefield 3. It didn't feel like a new experience to me. And again, I'm an anomaly. I've been playing games for like 40 years at this point or something ridiculous. And I've played all these games, and I could totally get that someone in their 20s is like, what the hell are you talking about? This is the most awesome thing I've ever played in my life.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for like a Battlefield 3 that looks like it was made today.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, also just the fact that they finally did it right again for the first time since what, Bad Company 2?
Yeah.
You gotta add that rush mode, guys.
That's coming this weekend.
Okay.
They just announced it today. That'll be in next week's beta.
Well, then that will be what I'm playing.
Yeah, there's another open beta coming this weekend with 2 new modes and a bunch of new weapons and a bunch of other stuff. My biggest complaint with this, and it's not even really a complaint, it's just that it doesn't quite measure up. The movement in Call of Duty destroys this game.
Oh yeah, true. It doesn't feel good to run around in this.
I mean, regardless of whether you like the gunplay in Call of Duty or you like the tight maps and the 6v6 or whatever, the bottom line is the movement in Call of Duty is vastly superior to this game. It's not even in the same league at this point. And that is one point of focus for Call of Duty for the last 3 or 4 years, is really kind of getting that movement to this peak state where everybody's cool with it and it works and it's very functional and versatile. This game isn't there yet. Maybe in a couple entries they'll get there, but like, you know, in Call of Duty you can dash any direction. Like there's just the climbing and the clambering is way more responsive and fast and realistic in Call of Duty. So this game has some work to do, but then you start to wonder, it's like, do they want to do that? Or do they want to make sure that Battlefield has its own distinct flavor with the gameplay to set it apart, so people aren't confused on whether they're playing Call of Duty or playing Battlefield? Because that line's blurrier now with Warzone, where you have this gigantic map and it has all the vehicles and everything. So the line's a little blurrier than it used to be between Call of Duty and Battlefield.
But I do think it matters that this really throws into stark relief the vehicles spawning on the map versus vehicles being summoned,
right?
Like in Warzone.
Yeah,
like that really. It turns out I really prefer the Battlefield style in that regard.
Yeah. Yep. But look,
like I understand the appeal of the Call of Duty thing where you have to earn all the hot streaks and all, like, you get bonuses for doing well.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it just feels like if I'm not like a top level player, I don't get to do anything cool.
All you ever get is like the UAV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. And that is true with Call of Duty. It's like, unless you're like some streamer, that's all you do is play that game all day, every day.
Obviously, the audience is bigger by default, but a lot of times it feels like a lot of shooters are just sort of in this space that fighting games are in. It's like, how do you get someone to play this that isn't already someone who's playing it? What makes that appealing? And how do you make that appealing to them without making it unappealing to the people who are already playing them?
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, this became a thing. There were 300,000 people waiting in the queue to play it before it launched. Ultimately, they had 500,000 people play the beta, in 2 days, which is a record for the Battlefield franchise.
Like, I don't think they're going to get 100 million players, but I think they're going to do pretty damn well.
They're probably going to get 20 to 25.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess. And that's great. That's Call of Duty numbers. Like, that's amazing. The X factor that's left now...
Be happy with that, EA.
Yeah, seriously.
Come on.
The X factor that's left is the campaign. It's been a sore spot with Battlefield since the beginning. It's never really had a truly great campaign in its entire history.
Like, why can't the campaign be as interesting as this B-roll?
I think it will be. I think it will, Matt. I think with the people working on it now, I think it's going to be the best campaign ever in a Battlefield.
Like, if you give this kind of destruction to some of the people that did those Call of Duty campaigns,
right?
Like, why?
It should be amazing.
And, like, it just never has been.
But
so
they've
weird.
never had those people working on it before.
But I'm just but I'm like, it shouldn't take that to recognize, like, oh, we can do some crazy shit with this.
I do think that there's been this reluctance on the part of DICE to try to replicate Call of Duty too much. I do think that EA and DICE do want this game to feel distinct and different from the Call of Duty franchise, and I think that does inform some of their decisions here and there.
But, I mean, it does multiplayer-wise, but, like, if you're going to do a campaign, there's only so much you can do with that.
It's
like
shooting guns.
I think the main thing I would try, and they've never really done this, is that one of the things I would focus... Okay, so you've got a big open battlefield, you've got a bunch of stuff, you can run tons of characters and soldiers and vehicles and things all over this place. Why don't you do some kind of, like, Dynasty Warriors style thing, where you have to basically, like, win the battlefield? Like you know what I mean?
No,
like,
I know. I understand what you're saying.
Like, why don't you use that as one of your strengths in what the game's engine and what the game design can do? Why isn't it more like that as opposed to just sort of running through like a golden path through like scripted events?
Yeah.
What if you had sections that were like, you have to basically get out there and win this?
Yeah.
And like instead of like working with other players, you've got like, just like Muso games, you have little commands you can give. Like they need help over here, so you got to get over here and help them there and push that back. And, like, you can showcase the destruction. You can showcase the vehicles. You can let people drive and fly vehicles they maybe normally wouldn't in multiplayer.
Yeah.
So it kind of almost serves as, like, a training ground where you can play as these things without all the stress from, like, other players around. Like, there's a lot you could do with that, and it has never made sense to me that they just don't. Like, the first time you put someone in a plane in a Battlefield campaign was a rail shooter. Mm-hmm. And you had to sit there for 5 minutes before the fucking thing took off, and there was no way to skip it. It was just fucking mind-boggling.
Well, Vince Zampella's on the case now. Like, I mean, he made what most people believe is the best Call of Duty campaigns. And him having just this tool of destruction in his palette to be able to create art with, I think is a boon. So I'm pretty excited. I
mean, when I covered Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the original Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, I remember watching Mackie, who was one of their designers. Like we had all this footage of the helicopter crashing in
Are you thinking of a specific mission?
Yeah, the Chernobyl mission.
Oh,
where the helicopter crashes as you're running from it towards the camera.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And that took forever to build this thing. Like, you just saw something that happened
just
like
happen
that
organically.
You can just make it do that now. So
yeah, I think the campaign's going to be at the least the best campaign that Battlefield's had.
Well,
and that is not a very high bar
I was
to clear.
Say, let's hope.
But at very least, I think that's what we can count.
How about better than Battlefront 2? So I think that's actually DICE's best campaign is Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah, it is really good. Most people forget about it though, for whatever reason. But you're right; it is their best one for sure. But
it's still not great.
No, but it's not just DICE anymore, though. It's Battlefield Studios. So it's like 3 studios kind of working together as an amoeba to make games.
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, if you get near a good campaign, play it.
Yeah.
Like,
seriously.
I do think Vince is going to help with that, obviously.
For sure.
The expertise of that is going to help. Like, hopefully someone like him who can see basically even on a written page, like, knows what will and won't work in the so you don't waste like 2 years making this thing that's like, oh, this isn't actually very good. It's like someone like Vince theoretically could tell you that when you tell him the idea.
Yeah. And look, while it was derivative and it felt like something I'd played before in a lot of ways, I still enjoyed it. I still had fun playing Battlefield this weekend. Let's see if you guys did too. Ashes in the Hourglass, All Gillied Up is a mission. Is it All Gillied Up? Is that mission?
I think it's the one after that.
Yeah, I thought so too.
But because that's two separate missions, that sequence.
Yeah, I mean, All Gillied Up's a sniper mission.
Yeah, it's not. It's the one after All Gillied Up, where you're trying to escape. Where you're trying to get out, and they're after you with this helicopter, and it crashes in like a street, and like the blades almost cut you up, and so we had a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff in one of the interview things we did about it.
Yep. AJ, the Legend Watson asks, how did the non-ground vehicles feel? The jets, the helicopters, etc. I never flew a jet, so I don't know because I've never been able to fly jets in this game. I just crashed right into the ground. I flew a chopper. My first flight, I pretty much did what you did. Just went like this, and then on his side, I went down. By the time the weekend was over, I was pretty good with the choppers. And then I got jealous because I'm like, I'm not getting the kills. I'm doing the flying, and somebody else was getting all the kills. So then I started trying to get other people to fly, but you can only get a hot chopper like once every 4 games you play. And like, I just wish that you could do it more often in these games. I wish if I wanted to fly a chopper, I could just fly a damn chopper the whole damn game if I wanted to. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works out. Erebus says, I thought Battlefield looked great, but I just know that I'll be back playing COD within a week. I just prefer 6v6. I mean, when you have this many players in a map, you do get shot in the back all the time. Like, I hardly ever died from somebody that I could see. And that's just Battlefield. That's just the way it is. Either you get used to it and you just deal with it, or you don't. Like,
well, it's like the way they show you who killed you is they show a little red ghost. And almost every time, whoever killed me was already gone.
Yeah, or it's just like so far away, it's like a freaking pixel or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Is there different games, Erebus Jones? I mean, you know that. You've played both. And look, I do agree with you. I prefer to play Call of Duty over Battlefield. One, because you do get shot in the back in Call of Duty. Nowhere near as often. The maps are smaller. You learn the maps better. So you start to learn the flow of traffic through the maps. So you don't get caught off guard as often as you do in Battlefield. And that some people may like that because it's the element of surprise. Some people may not like that. If you're really competitive, that can be really annoying. And I am really competitive.
Battlefield is, I think, it's hard to get into if you want to be good. If you want to have a consistent performance. And
you don't want to be a sniper.
Yeah. Whereas if you just want chaos and be in this thing and just kind of burn your way through shit, you'll have fun with that. But I don't know how long that sustains before you kind of get frustrated with the fact that it's very hard to be good at it unless you just sort of pretend that all the times you get killed out of nowhere are just sort of part of the game, I guess.
Yeah.
But if you're used to sort of the survival rate of Call of Duty, in terms of someone who knows the map because that's the thing is you can't really know the map that well
because they're blown up.
It's all changing constantly.
Yeah. It's a different thing, and you're gonna maybe like one more than the other. It just depends on your taste. Kevin H asks on YouTube, how is the destruction compared to previous entries? I mean, it's the craziest of them all. There's no doubt about it. The world, again, getting in a tank and driving around and just shooting stuff in this game is a ton of fun. But it just doesn't happen as often as you would like. It just doesn't. Maybe that keeps you from getting tired of it and it losing its impact. I don't know. But every time I finally got a tank, I was able to roll around with that big-ass cannon and blow stuff up. It was like, yahoo. It is a lot of fun. Nightwing says, I like blowing up buildings with snipers in them. Yes, the people who are camping in the top on the top floor of the building, and you blow it away, and they're just sitting there all exposed, all crouched. The game does have these moments that only Battlefield will provide, for sure. Particularly this one with all the destruction. What else we got here? Does it feel similar to MAG? I would say no. I thought MAG was always loosey-goosey. I never really enjoyed playing that.
I didn't play MAG enough to compare.
I never really liked the gunplay in that. Quickster says Battlefield needs to be Battlefield for it to succeed. Agreed. And that's kind of what I was talking about, how they're different things. And I don't think DICE or EA wants Battlefield to get all that similar to Call of Duty because then you've lost your unique selling proposition. So, who else we got in here? Zet Saber. Did anyone say get to the chopper? Yes, in fact, some people... I think every match of Battlefield, someone says get to the chopper. Yeah. Erebus said, we already got through that one. Any other ones? How did the non-vehicles feel? Oh, is that it? Oh, here's some more. East Demon, open beta was good. The Battlefield Labs apparently boarding on full level editor might actually sell me on this. Yeah, the Battlefield Labs Portal stuff looks insane. It really looks like it's going to give you tools to just do nutty stuff. Squishy Muffin says, my biggest complaint, among others online, I believe, is the maps presented for the beta are small and congested. Average spawn life is 60 seconds. They're smaller.
Yeah,
they're still way bigger than Call of Duty maps.
But that is sort of tying why I'm more interested in Rush mode because the thing I like about the Rush mode or Gold Rush, wherever they call it these days, is that there are pretty defined battle lines. One side's coming from this direction, the other side is guarding this direction. And there's a lot. It's a lot less more like that's the Conquest games all conquest games can sometimes have that thing where you just feel like the whole game's moving in a circle.
Yeah.
Like because you're taking these, they're taking these, and you're going back
Yeah,
around,
it's like chasing the tail.
Each other.
Yeah.
And like, but Rush always has like these defined. That's where they are. Here's where we are. We are going this way.
There's
it
the battle
feels
line.
More like a fight.
Yeah,
you know?
I like
And
knowing
I
where
like
the
that.
battle lines are.
Yeah.
It helps you form strategy.
What also means that like there's always that one particular location where everything is exploding.
Yeah.
Like you see all the destructions happening right there.
And you can stay away from it if you want to. Like it helps
And
you build your
like,
strategy.
Where's the objective? Where are the boxes we're trying to get to? And there's like something blows. Oh, they're right there in that thing that used to be a building. Got it. We're going that way.
Yeah.
I love that mode. I always thought that was the best mode for Battlefield because it takes advantage of the advantages that Battlefield presents more than anything else.
Emperor Dread had the same problems you had. I had to give up installing it on PC because after an hour of trying to get the anti-cheat happy with my rig, I had enough. Switched to PS5.
Yeah, I almost switched to PS5, but I just really wanted to see what it looked like on my 49.
I'd like to see it on your PS5 Pro, actually. See how that looks.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's it. I think those are all your comments about Battlefield. I thought there'd be more because I figured all you guys
We
played
can't
this.
load it up now, can we?
No. You can, actually. I tried last night, and it'll just take you to, like, a screen where it can't connect to the servers or whatever. So it's not completely dead. And then it'll fire back up here on Thursday at midnight for the second weekend. So if you guys missed it this weekend, another one is coming up. It's completely open. You can play it on PC, PS5, or Xbox Series. So if you like what you heard us talking about it, download it, get ready to go for this weekend, and that'll be your last chance before it comes out on... Is it October 10th or the 26th?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It's October the 10th. It's the 10th.
Because 26 would be more like Call of Duty.
Yeah, it is the 10th. And so it's coming out soon. It's the crazy part about it all. Squishy Muffin says, Matt, you'd have liked Frontline Fuel of War from 2008 from Chaos Studios, the Homefront studio. 50 players online was epic. For
Fun
consoles
fact,
back
I
then.
was in the room when they announced that.
Oh, really?
I was in the little theater where they first presented that game.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was just part of... I don't remember what I was there, if it was some kind of event thing.
Remember Homefront was like this thing? Like everyone
Homefront
thought it was
2
going to be
tried to-
terrible, but then it kind of was a hit out of nowhere. But then it ended up not being that good.
Frontline was okay. I mean, Frontline was a lot of ex-Battlefield people.
Yeah.
I think it was it was people who did a Battlefield mod that got shut down, so they formed their own team or something. Yeah, I remember that being okay. I didn't play Frontline very much.
Yeah, Homefront I think had big launch sales, and then people played it and were like, "This actually isn't very good."
Yeah, well then Homefront 2 killed the company, right?
Right.
Yeah. Because that Homefront 2 they pushed that real hard and nobody cared.
It was
about
awful
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Was
In
it
fact,
awful? I don't think I ever played it.
It was just very mediocre. It wasn't awful. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to talk about next. Perfect segue into the next topic that we're about to discuss here on GameFace. And I think it's a good time to transition over to when great games aren't good enough anymore. So this week, well, we talked last week about how BioShock 4 was in trouble. They canceled the BioShock remake. And then, not to jump ahead to the lightning round, but Rob Ferguson did leave Blizzard this week. Which, you remember, he saved a prior BioShock game.
Well, he got a prior BioShock game out the door.
Right.
I don't know about saved.
Right, that's a good point. But
again, I don't think Infinite was all that great, but it did sell 11 million copies. So
Yep. So anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute in our lightning round. But this discussion is kind of loosely based around BioShock 4 because 2 days after the whole BioShock story came out, Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two, they had their earnings report, and so people asked him about it. And basically what he said was, like, it's actually great. Like, BioShock 4 already is great, but great isn't good enough anymore. Games have to be better than great, which makes me wonder about Mafia, the old country, because that's also a Take-Two product, basically. But he said that, like, what other publishers haven't figured out yet, that Rockstar and Take-Two have figured out, is that you can't release great games anymore. They have to be exceptional games. And he's like, we figured that out. That's why we take 7 years to make a game, 5 years to make a game, however long it takes until we're happy with it.
But
and
then you put out Mafia the Old Country.
Right. Touche.
See, that sounds like bullshit to me.
It does sound like bullshit, but it made me think about it. Is he right?
I hear what he's saying, but the terminology is wrong. Because even an exceptional game, it doesn't fucking matter. Games sell because you make people aware of them. It's all marketing.
What about great games that people were aware of and just didn't buy? because there are a ton of them. So this made me think, and so I started looking back through the last 2.5 years of game releases for games that we really liked, you and I really liked here on GameFace, and got really high Metacritic scores that sold really poorly. And there are a ton.
Yeah, well, there's a ton of movies like that too. Like, being really good doesn't mean you're gonna clean up at the box office or clean up at retail channel. Like, that happens all the time.
I hear you.
Blade Runner was a bomb. Good luck finding anyone today who thinks Blade Runner is a bad movie.
Right.
But Blade Runner was a massive bomb at the time.
I think you will be surprised as I start going through the list. It's like almost every freaking game that like scored well. Hardly any of them have done well in sales.
Scores don't have anything to do with sales, though. So
I mean, they definitely have something to do with it. If a game gets a 3 out of 10, it's probably not going to sell very well.
A game that got 3 out of 10 isn't going to get a marketing push that would get it into those reaches.
Not anymore. They used to, though.
Well, Homefront tried. Homefront 2 tried.
I mean, it used to be
Homefront
every
2 was
game.
on buses.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter.
It also used to be that all the good games would sell 1 or 2 million units. Like, there wasn't like breakout hits where a game would sell 15 million or whatever back in the early aughts. Like, all the good games would sell 1 million to like 3 million, and then GTA 3 would sell 35, which now seems minuscule compared to what big games sell now.
Yeah, well, then, I mean, you're kind of also in the same boat where you're like, okay, so let's look at the top sellers. Are they great? Are they exceptional games? Is Grand Theft Auto 5 an exceptional game? I don't think it's even the best Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, actually. But I do think pretty much every Grand Theft Auto is at least borderline exceptional for the time it came out.
It's unique in the sense that, like, very few people put that level of thing. But again, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably better than any Grand Theft Auto, and it didn't sell better than GTA 5. Like,
it still sold like 30, 40 million units. Yeah.
But it didn't, you know, again, like, it's a weird metric to use, especially as the head of a company that has put out less than stellar things.
Well, the other thing that sort of exacerbates this is that this week, Circana, that's the new name for MPD, for old schoolers like us, put out a report. I don't know why they changed the name, actually.
But when did it happen?
4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I never hear anyone call them that. They just say NPD.
Yeah, because people know what NPD means. But now they're called Circana. And they put out a report this week that shows that spending by 18 to 24-year-olds is down 13% year over year. So that's just overall spending. That means that if people were playing free-to-play games, they have spent less money in those free-to-play games. It's just spending in general. And then actual video game sales are down 25% year over year among that age group. So are they too poor to buy video games?
I'm sure that's part. I mean, I imagine spending's down in almost every sector year over year at this point.
Maybe. Or is gaming turning into a wealthy person's hobby?
I mean, if the console prices keep going that direction, I guess.
And the game prices, right? They're going up.
But again, so much of that is like people like pick that one game and just play it. You know, like
that age group in particular. Yeah. Older generations, comparatively, the spending has only dropped 5%.
Pay attention to how much like people, especially someone under 40, will like when they find out you play video games or that they'll ask you, well, what do you play? As though it's something you do, like, you know. Because like that was always a weird question to me. Because I'm just like, I play whatever's out.
I play it all.
Week.
Yeah, people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that. They're like, "Oh, surely you don't." I'm like, "Surely I do."
But they have like 3 games they play regularly, and that's about it.
Yeah, they have their rotation, their cycle. So anyway, older generations, the spending drop off is way less compared to the 18 to 24s, and $10 games like Peak and stuff like that are thriving. Like these $5 viral games that people like, or a lot of games on Roblox, stuff like that are like $4, $1 or whatever. Those seem to be the games that are thriving, while the full price games are not. Also, microtransactions are thriving because you can just spend $1 instead of spending $60. So it seems like the smaller spends are what the younger audiences are continuing to do, and they're dropping the bigger spends, a la buying games at full price. So I did go through, and I looked at a bunch of games that have come out the last 2 years, and I have 14 here. Games that scored 8.5 or higher that basically bombed. First one, Doom: The Dark Ages. And that's a big IP that people know about. The last couple games have sold very well.
I thought they said that did fine.
Well, I mean, it sold like 1 million or 2. The Take-Two's point is like, you want to sell 1 million or 2, okay. But if you want to make a profit off of these games that you're spending 5 years or more to work on, you can't make money if you're selling 1 million or 2. You need to sell 20, 30-40 million to really recoup your investment and really make money on these. And that's where he jumped in. He's like, and we make sure that we spend the extra time on our games. We take 5 to 7 years to make them, and when they're done, they're as good as they can possibly be, and we sell 20 million of them instead of selling 1 or 2 million. So you're right. Like, I don't know what a break even is for a game like Doom: The Dark Ages at this point. I mean, those games actually don't take that long to make.
Yeah, and you also have to like take into account that like so much of the play on this came from Game Pass, and like Microsoft skews those numbers in a weird way just by doing what they do, and then on top of that, we don't know what success means to them anymore.
See, I kept saying that to myself, and then the list kept getting longer and longer and longer, and that didn't apply because then you start getting to games that weren't on Game Pass, and like.
Right, but I just like I don't know. Like, it's not like there's ever been a time when every good thing did well. You know, like
I don't think it's that not everyone. It's like, because you're right. You could say, well, look, here. Let me find a game on this list that may not be appealing to everybody. Unicorn Overlord. This is a niche Japanese game. It's not going to have a big audience, even though it scored really high. It's not going to do well. But then you keep going, and you're like, well, here's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which launched for PS5 and sold like 300,000 units.
I'm still going to say on this, as much as I like this game, I think Indiana Jones is a dead brand.
Here's the thing, though, Matt. Like, I was doing the same thing you were doing. I kept coming up with a reason for why they didn't sell, but there's so many.
Right, but here's the thing. This is an exceptional game.
Yeah.
So what's he talking about?
No, I think most people consider this great. Like, this is like a high, mid-8, like not a 9, 9.5, or a 10. And his point was, like, if you want to make real money in the games industry, you're not going to do it with 8.5 games. You're going to have to do like closer to 9 or over 9 to really be successful in this industry in 2025. And he's kind of right.
Except that's completely subjective, so I don't know what he thinks that strategy means.
What do you mean by subjective?
I mean, what someone thinks is an 8.5 versus a 9.5 or whatever, that's an entirely subjective opinion.
Yeah, but when you have like 400 reviews, it's not really subjective anymore. That's the average of what everybody believes. And you have to use some kind of a metric.
Well, you mean, because you have, in the same way as finance, we're making all this shit up, so we got to pretend something's real.
Maybe.
So yeah, in that regard, yes. But you never know what, battle plan survives contact with the enemy. There's no way to guarantee any of that. And like, if that is his metric, why is Mafia the Old Country out?
That's why I brought that up at first, because he said that, and 2 days later they released Mafia the Old Country.
The way to test that theory is to look at Take-Two's output.
Yeah, and I agree. That's why I mentioned that right off the top, that he's kind of a hypocritical by saying that.
I would argue that, BioShock 4 may be great internally. He may think that. He may think it's exceptional. But I would argue that BioShock is going to be a niche just because of the nature of the kind of game it is, which, probably not coincidentally, is very similar to the kind of game Indiana Jones is. Like, the immersive sim thing has never really been a mass audience thing.
We can keep going, though. Next
BioShock, I think, BioShock Infinite... I think you should, not you personally, but I think it should be studied why BioShock Infinite sold 11 million copies. Because that is triple what the first game did.
Yeah.
So what happened...
There's a lot of hype behind that game.
Right, 100%. But also, what happened between BioShock 1, which I would argue is head and shoulders the best game of those three. What happened between BioShock 1 and BioShock Infinite, especially because BioShock 2 didn't really sell any particularly differently.
Yeah.
What made BioShock Infinite the darling all of a sudden?
Well, I think to your point, it's a kind of a strange concept. So I think the building of the fandom for that franchise was a slow burn.
It was.
Between the two games. And I think finally they were like, oh, the third one, this is the one that appeals to me. This is the one where they've amassed the audience. They're going to make a game that appeals to a bigger group of people. And the initial demo of that game blew people away. And I think it just started that snowball rolling downhill.
But again, I don't think most of those 11 million people saw that demo. Because it never went outside. Yeah. I think one of the main reasons it sold well was because the advertising worked.
Or the reviews were really high. I think its Metacritic was 91.
I have never met a normal person who has ever read a video game review.
Really?
And decided to buy anything of it. That's
really
us. That's core people. That's enthusiasts.
I don't think that's possible.
I think it's
because some of our reviews at Game Trailers, because my review of GTA 4 on Game Trailers has been viewed almost 8 million times at this point. I mean, there's definitely some casuals that watch that review.
How many copies has GTA 4 sold?
I don't know, actually.
A lot more than 8 million.
Yeah, I mean, probably 30, 40,
a lot of those are repeat
something like
views,
that.
I think, too.
Maybe.
And that's over how many years? But like
a lot of years, yeah. But we had 6 million in the first year.
Right. But what I'm saying is that, like, you're talking about 6 million views for something that sold 40 million copies.
But not all that first year. I mean, that also was a slow burn like the other
4?
GTAs. Yeah.
I don't know if it's 4.
I mean, it's sold over the years for sure. They all do. All the GTA games do.
Sure. But what I'm saying is, like, I think the fact that you could see the big America Freedom Eagle with what's-his-butt with the gun on the side of a bus on Ivory City in America sold Infinite a lot more than an 8.5 from IGN.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So I was doing the same thing you're doing. I kept trying to find a reason why this game didn't sell, but it just keeps going on and on. So, Dragon Age the Veilguard. You talked about this earlier. I think its Metacritic was around an 8.5 when it was all said and done, maybe a little bit lower.
I don't remember.
But, again, did not sell very well. Most people generally consider it at least a very good game to a great game, but not exceptional.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of hate for that game out there, too, as well. And not just from the chuds, but, like, because there's a lot of people I know who liked Dragon Age and felt like the writing let them down. And, like, I guess I kind of see it more now that I've gotten further to the end of it. However, some of that with that was so many people in the RPG space like just took the wind out of that thing's sails because it wasn't Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I wonder how many like ambitious big high fantasy things. Expedition 33 dodged that bullet to some degree because it's not trying to do dragons and wizards and shit. But like, I wonder if Baldur's Gate 3 kind of ruined that genre.
Maybe
for people.
It's possible. But you're right. You can find a valid excuse for all these. You can.
If anyone takes anything from Dragon Age Veilguard, I hope you take the hair. That hair is amazing.
It really is. It's kind of the best in the industry, honestly. Right on cue. You see perfect hair. And then there's Alan Wake 2, which game of the year for a lot of people, sold like ass. Like,
yeah, well, this one I think I don't think it's as simple as there's one answer for any of this stuff. That's the thing. I think that's why the Take-Two guy is full of shit.
Isn't the answer, though, that like to guarantee that your game does very well,
No.
it needs to be exceptional?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I kind of think it is.
I don't think it is.
Well, then what is it?
I think...
Why are all these... I'm not even halfway through my list. I'm not even a quarter of the way through my list. Why are these games not selling?
Because people don't buy new games as much as they used to, and you have to penetrate into the mass consciousness that simply doesn't happen with some of these games. And they've all... I mean, Alan Wake 2...
There's more consoles than ever for people to buy these games.
Yeah, but they're all playing Fortnite. Alan Wake 2 is a very interesting case, I think, because, I mean, we didn't like it that much. I certainly wouldn't call Alan Wake 2 an exceptional game.
Well, neither of us, but we didn't like it. But everybody else
similar
did.
to Mafia.
Everybody else
Similar to
did.
Mafia, I would call it an exceptional presentation and a mediocre game. The thing about Alan Wake 2 that if you ask me why this didn't resonate is because, A, the crazy shit was buried. You did not advertise this with the dance number. You advertised it as a basically run-of-the-mill Twin Peaks game.
Yeah.
And it's Alan Wake 2, and I mean, anecdotal, but 3 people I talked to about this game because I would recommend, because they like horror. I mean, even though I didn't love it, I knew they would like this. And their reaction to being told this was, well, I didn't play the first one, so I don't want to play a sequel without. No, I'm like, it doesn't really matter. You know, it doesn't really matter. You don't need to have played Alan Wake 1 to understand or enjoy this game. I don't think. But they just wouldn't touch it because there was a 2 in it. Yeah. Which is stupid. But, like, again, you don't know what audiences are going to do anymore. Like, look at the drop-off on Fantastic Four. That was reviewed fine. Yeah. But, like, you just never know.
We can keep going. Final Fantasy 16. I mean,
Final Fantasy is not something...
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's easy to keep making up an excuse or a reason.
I'm not making up excuses. I'm giving you the reasons.
I'm saying I do the same thing, Matt. Don't take it personal. I'm saying I did the same thing.
I'm saying
I went through these games and I came up with a reason.
And I'm saying that when we do that, we're right. And this...
I don't think I am right.
I think we are... Well, I mean, not necessarily that we're right about the reasons, because some of the reasons could be various. But what I'm saying is this Take-Two guy is full of shit. Because exceptional is A, subjective, and B, has nothing to do with how the general public sees, discovers, or pays for entertainment.
But I don't understand your description of subjective. So let's say you polled 1,000 people and 900 of them agree on something. Is that still subjective?
Yes. By definition, that is still subjective.
You're giving too much value to an outlier's opinion.
An opinion is subjective. By definition.
Sure.
There is no such thing as an objective opinion.
But how valuable is the 5 percentile person in that for somebody who's trying to figure out whether they should spend money on something?
If you're in that 5%, it's valuable more than any of the other 900 people.
Yeah, but you're still like in the 5%. In the
right, that's the problem of subjectivity. Yes, that is the whole issue. That's the problem, is there's no answer. Like, because that's still an opinion.
I just say personally,
there's a consensus, but there's
generally going to trust the 95%.
It's a better bet.
It's just like being on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and you poll the audience.
Being subjective has nothing to do with trusting. Subjective,
it does, though.
No, it doesn't.
So imagine you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Your opinion on things is subjective, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't trust your judgment on it if you knew some more about a shooter than I did. But, like, that doesn't mean I'm going to have the same opinion as you.
No, I understand that. But when you're trying to figure out a consensus, it's like, if I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I'm trying to get through to the next round, and I poll the audience, and the audience is 95% on one of those answers, you have to be an idiot to choose the 5%. Like,
right,
there is some power in it.
It's still subjective. Like, it's literally fact that it is subjective. Opinion is subjective. Even if consensus, I mean, there's more than 1 billion people who believe some really weird religious shit, but that doesn't make them right.
Yeah.
Like, that's subjective.
No, I understand the definition of subjective. There's never anything where 100% of everybody's going to agree on something, ever.
Well,
that's never going to happen.
Subjectivity has nothing to do with how many people agree on something. It simply means that there's no way to objectively define the quality of something in the sense of whether someone likes it or enjoys it or not, because that's a personal reaction. In the same way that
I think it helps you judge mass appeal of something, whether it's going to appeal to a broad group of people.
Right, but the fact that no one can duplicate mass appeal reliably means that it is so subjective that you cannot call it an objective measurement.
I would argue that Rockstar can.
And
because it is creating exceptional games.
I would argue that Rockstar has done it so far, and one day they will not.
Maybe.
And
but it's pretty good at it right now.
And actually, one day they already have not. Because Rockstar table tennis was not a fucking runaway hit.
I don't think that's fair, though.
I think it's 100%
I mean, that
fair.
was just a little fun thing.
Man, they fucking grilled you on that thing, man. They thought you were crazy for not thinking it was the second coming of Jesus.
Yeah, that's true.
It was a fucking ping pong
Rockstar's
game.
a cult, for sure.
100%.
Well, let's keep going, though. Death Stranding 2.
Okay, I'm not going to fault... anyone who thought this was going to be a mainstream hit is in a fucking cult of their own, okay? Like...
But
even as someone who did enjoy this more than I thought I was going to, this thing's. I mean, again, I don't know what you're gonna do if you. How do you show this to some average person who thinks video games are Call of Duty?
Yeah.
And be like, hey, you should play this thing where Norman Reedus is being gentle with a baby.
High critic scores, high user scores. Looks like it's selling like ass. I haven't seen a single thing about sales for this game at all.
Some of that has to be people that played Death Stranding 1 are like, well, it fooled me once, you know?
I mean, it's possible.
I wouldn't have bought this. If I was a regular person, I would have, I probably would have played Death Stranding when it got cheap, because you could get that for like $10, $15 at one point.
Yeah.
I probably would have played it, and then like when this came out, I would have been like, no fucking way. Yeah. And I would have missed something I liked. I liked Death Stranding 2 quite a bit.
I played it. I don't know if I really liked it, but I played it for a long time. I guess that means something.
That might be a better way to say it. Yeah.
But we can keep going here. Silent Hill 2 remake.
Well, Silent Hill 2 remake sold better than the original.
It did, but only because the original sold like 800,000 copies. But this has only sold like 2 million.
Yeah.
Not very good. Dead Space remake.
It's pretty good for a remake of a 25-year-old game.
Yeah. Dead Space remake. Everybody asked for this for 20 years. Then it came out. Nobody cared. It bombed.
This is, again, my thing of, like, don't listen to the enthusiast community. Because there's not enough of them to make something that kind of a hit.
Yeah. Dead Space. Like a Dragon. Yakuza Pirate in Hawaii.
Well, these things sell exactly what they sell every time. Like, I don't know what it's going to take to get Yakuza to break out of that 2 to 3 million thing, but they've been there for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And that's just how many. And again, RGG team and Sega have adjusted to that, and they spend just like the old Star Trek movies. They know exactly how much these things are going to sell, and they spend exactly how much money they know that they're going to.
Yeah, they're not spending 6 years on a game.
No, this is not a 6-year game. They make these in a year.
I know.
They just reuse assets so much that they make. These guys have figured it out. Like if you're not going to do the blockbuster mega hits that the Take-Two guy is talking about, you
This is how you
need
do
to
it.
adopt the Yakuza model. 100%.
But you're kind of making the point though. Like if you're not going to do the exceptional game and spend all the time to doing it, you need to spend the 2 years making a game like this that can still get an 8 or higher.
But here's the thing: I think some of these Yakuza games are exceptional.
Yeah,
I mean,
I wouldn't go that far.
I would. They're repetitive, but so's GTA.
Yeah. Pikmin 4. Almost my game of the year it came out. Hasn't sold worth a dick.
I don't know a single person who's played this who didn't love it.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
Won't sell.
Has Pikmin ever been a runaway seller?
Not really. No, it's always been sort of the lower selling of all other
B
tier franchises.
Pikmin 4 is the best selling one 3? Or what
maybe the first one.
Maybe the first one was the
on
first
GameCube.
one on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Which one was on the Wii?
2.
2 was on the Wii.
Yeah. Or no, Pikmin 2 I think may have been GameCube as well.
That was GameCube too.
Yeah.
But there were Wii versions.
3.
Right? 3 was Wii
Was that
U.
a Wii U game?
That was a Wii U
It
game.
was, yeah. Yep, and then 4 was on Switch. But
Pikmin,
amazing game.
Yeah.
Sold like ass.
Feels like Pikmin 4 was your first shot at a real breakout with that because it was on the Switch, which was,
a platform with a huge install base, and nobody cared. Shin Megami Tensei 5, that game was in development for 7 years. It basically bombed.
I mean, even I didn't play that.
Yeah.
I actually did the big Atlas survey this week where they asked about being like a Persona and Shin Megami Tensei fan.
Yeah.
And like it was like, mark all the ones you've played, and I was like, God, all of them.
Yeah.
And then not that one, because I'm like, at some point I realized I'm just not going to finish the Demon Pokemon games anymore. I'm sorry.
I mentioned earlier Unicorn Overlord. That's definitely a niche Japanese game, but it scored really high.
And they won't. And that guy, that's Vanillaware, right? That's the Vanillaware one. That guy, for some reason, will not allow his games to be put on PC.
I don't know why. It is very bizarre.
I don't know why.
I mean,
I don't. Maybe he said why at some point, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it's weird. And then a very recent game, The Alters, which was a game that I really liked, which is this cloning game, survival game.
Yeah, I did play that after we discussed it.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I liked it okay.
Yeah.
I didn't actually get that far in it, but it is an interest. I mean, it is sort of like, clearly someone really liked Moon.
Yeah,
Sam
it's
Rockwell,
a great game. It's not
like,
exceptional, though. Like, it's an 8 or whatever, and it also appears to have completely bombed. So, looking at the whole breadth, this just from the last 2.5 years that I looked back. And these are all games that scored at least an 8.3 or higher. I think that's where I cut it off. And none of them sold very well.
All right, so then what are the top-selling games that are exceptional?
That's a good question,
that
actually.
aren't Take-Two games.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or does he think only Take-Two makes exceptional games?
Well, the bigger point is like, where are the big selling games, period, other than Call of Duty? They aren't. There aren't any.
Well, except everyone thinks big selling means more than like 3 million now, even though that is a lot of copies of something.
It is, but if you want to make money after you develop a game for 5 years,
if you want to make money, don't develop a game for 5 years.
Yeah,
because
so it is a little bit of a chicken or egg thing.
Yeah,
it's like, is it that they're not selling because you're not taking 5 to 7 years to make them, or that they're not selling just because people just don't want to buy full price games anymore? Or are they not selling because now they're $70 instead of $60?
Mafia, the Old Country, apparently took 5 years to make.
Which blows my mind.
Is that going to sell 40 million copies?
No, definitely not.
It'll
be lucky to sell 5.
I just think some of it's
God
just
of Gambler says Nintendo's games and all of Capcom's games. And that's accurate. Like, what games are really selling now?
Yeah.
It's Nintendo stuff and pretty much everything Capcom puts out.
I certainly wouldn't call Monster Hunter an exceptional game, but a lot of people would.
Would they? A lot of fans are even pissed off about that one now.
Wilds is its own problem. But I think people would have called Monster Hunter World an exceptional game. But
pretty much every game Capcom puts out at this point sells at least like 10 million.
Yeah. Resident Evil does pretty well. Again, Resident Evil is a household name in a way that very few other things are because of those terrible movies. But everyone's seen those fucking movies. It's amazing to me how many. No one can tell you which movie is which because they're all 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah,
and they're all
crap.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
all of them.
The weapons guy has said he's never seen any of them, so don't worry. But he knows the games, so we'll see.
That helps.
He said he's not going to do. He's like, I'm doing an original story because if you want to know what happens to Leon Kennedy, just go play Resident Evil 4. We already have that.
I guess what I'm getting at here is then what do you do to sell a bunch of games?
Isn't that true?
If it's not spend the 5 to 7 years to create something exceptional, what do you do?
I mean, you accept that you're going to sell 2 to 3 million of a really good game.
And just make sure that you don't spend over the amount of money you're going to make off 2 or 3 million,
isn't
I
that
guess.
where everybody is right now? That's where the film industry is, too.
But see, that's what Take-Two's saying. Is like, y'all haven't figured it out yet. We have. And eventually the other industry is going to fall in line and start doing what we're doing.
Well, what they do is take 10 years and billions of dollars to make some crazy, like sculpted art piece, but like no one else can afford to do that.
Yeah.
So it really feels like they're just talking themselves up on
and
this.
so this
is
all
not a
ties back.
solution to anyone's sales problems. It's just Take-Two being like, look how awesome we are.
Well, it also comes back to, okay, we have this new generation of players that aren't buying new games at all. So how are we going to get them to buy a game? It's not by creating these mediocre AA games that we still sell for 60 or 70 bucks. What is it? I mean, are they still going to buy GTA 6? They probably are.
Probably.
Did they buy Red Dead Redemption 2? They probably did.
They did.
Or they would.
Well,
but are they buying anything else? They're really not.
But you can't run, again, you can't run your expectations or your plans along the metric of things like Red Dead Redemption 2 or GTA. Like, in the same way that you can't go into making a movie thinking like, well, our model is Avengers Endgame. Because, like, no one had ever done that before. You know, you're not going to make $2 billion with your movie. It's just, even Marvel can't do that anymore. Like, times change. Things shift. Like, you need to accept right now in filmmaking that you can't spend $250 million making your movie because your maximum worldwide box office right now for a hit is about $600 million.
Yeah, 200 opening week or whatever is the best you can hope for.
Like Lifetime,
right.
your whole run worldwide, if you make $600 million, you're doing pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about Superman being some kind of like... Superman's the highest grossing Superman movie of all time.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, just for inflation, Superman 1978 made $1.1 billion. So like,
is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
interesting.
Superman 78 was a huge hit.
Wow.
Huge
I didn't realize
hit.
that.
But you know, yeah, just raw money numbers, it made more than domestically than any other Superman movie ever has.
Wow.
If that's not success, you're budgeting wrong.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of and again, it's not really their fault because this period of like belief in infinite growth has infected everything right now, and everyone's just got to learn a very hard I mean, look, Take-Two doesn't need to learn that lesson because they have a money printing machine that's called GTA. And it's interesting to see someone say that about a company that like I don't really associate Take-Two with exceptional games outside of Rockstar. You know what I mean?
They do.
Well, I know they do, but to the point that I can't really name you any other 2K games of recent. I'm like what are the other games he's talking about?
Borderlands 4? I don't know.
Please.
Yeah. Well, look, if you're into those types of games, I think it's probably one of the best in the genre.
But that's kind of the thing is like there's only so many games that everybody's into.
Yeah.
And GTA crosses that line.
I think what everyone's trying to figure out is how do we sell games to this next generation? That's what I think the root of all this is everyone's freaking out. They're like, they're not buying our games anymore. What are we going to do?
Absolutely. But you know what the answer to that isn't? We'll make them really, really good. Because that doesn't mean anything. Like, you can't just, like, compare these things objectively to GTA 6 or whatever and be like, well, GTA 6 is what exceptional means. So, is Final Fantasy 17 as good as GTA 6? What does that mean? How do I compare Final Fantasy 15 to GTA? Like, what is it? Like, they're two completely different things. And, like, maybe you could say some individual person would probably like this more than the other, but I know tons of people who like Final Fantasy 15 more than GTA 5.
Look,
I think they're crazy.
I think a really important part of this job, and I do look at it like a job. I understand other people look at being on podcasts and doing this as other things. I do look at it as a job, and I have a duty to do. And I do think there is a skill in figuring out what the average person likes. I really think it is. I think if you can nail scores and you put out your score, you haven't talked to anybody else, and after 6 months you go and look at that Metacritic and your score is within a couple decimals, that's a skill. Being able to play something, consume something, and say, on the average scale that most people look at stuff, this is where it's going to land. And that's how people start to trust you and rely on your opinions and your reviews.
But that does not necessarily translate into $60. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
because different people glean different things out of a product.
I wouldn't tell them this because I don't think this about this game, but I could tell someone that Alan Wake 2 is one of the best games of that year. And a lot of people do think that.
Yeah.
But it's exceptional. It is exceptional. It has this dance number in it. It has multiple points of view. There's different worlds, and like it's got live act. It mixes all this. There's nothing else you're going to play this year that's like Alan Wake 2. I think that's a fair thing to say, even if there's someone who didn't like it all that much. But if someone just doesn't want to play that, if someone looks at that and goes, "Well, it's a horror thing. I'm not a horror." Well, I didn't play the first one, so I don't want to play a sequel without playing the first one. Or like, I don't like police procedurals. ACAB, fuck it. You know, you're gonna have things where like people are just like, I don't want to play that because I'm not interested in whatever that is. And for whatever reason, there are two things. I mean, leaving aside games as a service, there are two kinds of games that have broken out into the world in that like nebulous realm of everyone kind of likes this. No matter who you are, if you're willing to pick up a controller, you are apparently pretty willing to play a first-person military shooter or an open-world crime game. I don't know why those two things are so universal, but they are. And I think that holds true for the Rockstar thing because obviously when I say open world crime game, you're going to think of GTA, right? But that's also a description of Red Dead.
Yeah.
You are a criminal in the Red
Time
Dead
setting
games.
doesn't matter. You're still a
but it's still the same kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? And they're, even if they didn't sell GTA numbers, a lot of open world crime games have sold better than they probably should have just because they are
look
adjacent
like
to that.
GTA. Yeah.
Look at you, Saints Row. But like,
Yeah.
speaking of Take-Two putting out exceptional games, how's Saints Row doing, boys?
Wait, Take-Two?
Did they do that?
No, that's
Who was
THQ.
that? That's THQ. Did
Yeah.
Take-Two have anything to do with them at some point?
I don't think so.
Did Take-Two do Just Cause? Who did Just Cause?
No.
What has Take-Two done other open world things?
Not really.
Just GTA.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that's it in Red Dead. Yeah. Not I'm aware of. I may be wrong, but
I don't know. But I think a lot of people a lot of those games have ridden the coattails of the idea that people are willing to play to recapture that experience because you just don't get a GTA very often. But I'm saying that there are simply limitations to certain games in the sense of what they are because they are not as universally appealing.
But I think there's a skill in recognizing that as well. And
Sure.
recognizing this property will not appeal to X number of people and taking all that into account before you kind of place it on that scale somewhere.
Sure, but what I'm saying is like how do we know that these other companies aren't doing that? Like, how do we know?
Well, we know how long it takes to make each game.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
but you don't know how skilled the developers are in each project.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
Because if you're unskilled, it could just take a lot longer.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying, how do we know that Microsoft is disappointed with Doom? Like, we know that...
Well, we'll never know that because it was on Game Pass. And
we know that Square is disappointed with Final Fantasy 16.
They said that.
But they seem to blame PlayStation exclusivity for that. And again, is that bullshit? Like, is this, in the same way that Take-Two says, well, these things don't sell because they're not exceptional? Is it bullshit that, like, Square is like, well, if we were on other platforms, it would have sold what we wanted it to? Like, I don't really believe that.
I mean, it should have probably would have sold more.
It would have sold more, sure, but would it have sold whatever their internal target was?
I mean, Square Enix's internal targets are bonkers anyway.
Yeah.
But
so a lot of it is expectations. And, I guess if you expect to sell 10 million copies of something that has probably a realistic consulting agency ceiling of 3 million copies, and you spend the amount of money and time on the development budget that is, you're expecting 10 million and you sell 3 million, it's like, well, it was a huge failure. It's like, well, your huge failure was thinking it was going to sell 10 million. There's a point at which it's the publisher's fault for not understanding the appeal level of their product. And you can make Silent Hill 2 as exceptional as you want to, but there's people that are just not going to play a David Lynch style horror game like that.
But it's like I said, though, the list that I have here is like 15 games or something.
But what I'm saying is that some of this has to do with like just what genres and what types of games these are, and if everything has to sell 30 million copies, then you're just never going to make a horror game again.
So I have these 15 games. I'm just trying to figure out what the common thread is between all of them.
They all sold lower than you think they should have.
That and they all scored an 8.3 to like an 8.8. But that's it. Those are the only common threads I can find between all those games.
Well, there's a third common thread, and that's that they aren't all universally appealing in the way that something like GTA is.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting thing to think about.
They're all niche genres.
Yeah, I mean, RPGs.
Yes, they are.
RPGs are the best-selling games in the industry.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. RPGs are the best-selling games in the industry.
GTA is not an RPG.
No,
Call of Duty is not an RPG.
Games, like
what?
Josh has said genre. It's the best-selling genre, the action RPG.
Well, yeah, but like, where's the like what Final Fantasy 16?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the only action RPG in there they've named.
But I mean, these run the gamut. You got first-person shooter from one of the biggest franchises ever. You got an action adventure.
Is that Call of Duty?
Doom, Dark Ages. You got an Indiana Jones game. You got a Dragon Age game.
Right, but Indiana Jones and Doom, you've just named two things. That
Dragon Age also an action RPG.
Right, but I just named two things that were in their heyday 30 years ago. Indiana Jones and Doom. I think some of this is not being willing to let IP you've heard of go.
That could be part of it.
Indiana Jones is part of that. Silent Hill is part of that.
But isn't starting new IP even scarier?
Oh, sure. I mean, but also note that, I mean, I didn't like Weapons that much, but Weapons is currently tied with Sinners as the highest reviewed, if we're going to talk about review scores, highest reviewed original movies of the decade.
Okay.
Both
of the decade?
Of the decade.
Wow. What's its score?
I think they're both at 93.
Wow.
Or something like that.
Holy cow.
Now, look, I would never give Weapons anything probably over an 80.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter for the purposes of this. Those are two original films. Sinners is the highest, I think the highest grossing R-rated or horror movie. It's the highest rated horror movie, I think, in some crazy amount of time.
I'm not surprised to hear that. Yeah.
Totally original, I'll tell you, like original stuff can't. But again, you're right. Original stuff is riskier because you just don't know what's gonna. I mean, Coogler got some crazy deal on Sinners. I mean, he gets Sinners back in 30 years.
Like that's great.
Like that's part of his deal was because they didn't really think anything of it. They was like, okay, we'll make this thing. It'll be cool. It'll be a feather in our cap that Ryan Coogler made a movie for us. It'll be we get Michael B. Jordan. It'll be really cool. But he gets some crazy cut of all that money it made because they didn't think it was going to be anything. And in 30 years, all the rights revert back to him.
That's
like
awesome.
He gets it, and like they're terrified, and the studio's terrified because they don't want like these creators to get that deal from that. Because we gave it to Coogler for Sinners, and that made you a ton of money, so we want the same deal. So like, could anyone have predicted that was going to break out the way it did? Probably not.
Yeah.
And like, so that's the frustration. That's the risk. That's why you can get paid millions of dollars for successes in entertainment, is because it's so hard to read the mass audience's tastes and how they change.
Like I said, it's a skill.
For
sure.
It's a skill, but it's also reading the tea leaves. Like no one's 100% all the time.
Oh no, of course not. Yep.
That's. I mean, it's like baseball. Like if you're batting 300, you're probably one of the best studio analysts in the industry right now. And it's frustrating because everybody has started to spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to make all these things, especially in the streaming era.
Yeah.
And in this era where like everybody just thinks that like if we make it bigger and louder and better and more refined and more HD, and I think companies like Naughty Dog were part of the spearhead for that too.
For sure. Yeah.
Then people will notice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of the thing is like, how do you get people to notice? How do you get people to notice your thing? And some of that might be, I mean, obviously that's spread out across 2 years, but how do you look at all those things and know which ones are better than the others? Or how do you look at all those things and be like, well, maybe I'll just keep playing this thing I already have because I don't want to take a risk on $60 for this thing that I'm not sure about. Like,
that's the question that the industry needs to figure the F out.
What makes you spend $60? And that's increasingly the same question across all entertainment because you're spending $60 a month on streaming shit.
I mean, go to see a movie in the theater in LA, you're spending $60.
Yeah. Especially if you get popcorn and stuff.
Yeah.
Or parking.
Yeah.
It's insanely expensive to get a morsel of entertainment now, and people are being much more careful with that, especially now that.
Yeah, so 8.5 isn't good enough anymore.
But again, 8.5 doesn't matter if you're interested.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying is like,
well, I'll play if there's a DJ game, I'll play it if it has a 3 out of 10.
Because here's the thing. Well, that's sort of also my point. It's like if you're interested, it doesn't matter. I'm saying that like you're going by this review metric thing, and I'm saying I don't think that matters anymore, and that's part of why people are struggling so hard in making these. Budgeting these things properly
because they're like it scored high and nobody bought it,
right?
So what are we trying to attain?
I mean, look at Final Fantasy. Look at Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four reviewed very well. It's in the 80s. It had one of the worst second weekend drop-offs I've ever seen. In part because Naked Gun cannibalized a lot of its. There's another one no one saw coming. It didn't win the weekend, but it did way better than a comedy's done in forever.
Yeah.
But it's like. I don't know, and I think the answer is much scarier. I think the answer is much more nebulous. It's like I think the answer is you can never know. You can never know. You can guess and you can kind of follow a trend, but you never know what the next big trend is. And generally, the next big trend comes out of something smaller and something that is like kind of an experimental thing.
Like Peak.
Or,
There's like 8 million
Or,
clones of Peak right now.
I mean, I was thinking of another game that's 4 letters that starts with P, PUBG.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
And I know PUBG isn't really the biggest success story. I mean, the biggest success story in that link
it
is
is.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
I mean, Fortnite is what comes from that.
Yeah.
PUBG.
Well, it's like game trailers going to Digital Foundry. They took one thing that game trailers did and made a whole business out of it.
Right. But what I'm saying is, and like one of their problems they're having in terms of that is that these companies simply don't back the small stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool that like GTA sells obscene amounts of copies all the time, but what if GTA 6 just didn't? Then what would Take-Two do? Yeah. Now what? Yeah. You haven't put any effort into new stuff or new up-and-coming ideas over there in however long. Because you're what's your other output this year? Mafia 4 and Borderlands 4. 4.
And NBA 2K and whatever.
2K. Yeah. I mean, those go forever. You know, those are evergreen, and you don't really need to worry about. Maybe you could make a football game and get EA off their ass.
That'd be great.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, Sinners, like, we don't really have a Sinners equivalent in games. Because Sinners is, you know, I mean, you can point out Peak, but Sinners costs like $90 million.
Yeah.
Like,
that
was not a small, but
it wasn't an
it's
indie
not a small indie film.
Yeah,
you know? And no one's taking chances on that kind of thing anymore in this industry, and you're going to run out of things that appeal to people except some of these free-to-play games and some of these long-standing, you know, Mario.
It did give me hope hearing the kid that bought my wife's car being very excited about Battlefield.
No, that's
even though for me, I was like, oh, it's just like Battlefield 3. He's like, I never played Battlefield 3.
No, that's good. Like
that's the type of stuff that you need to happen, like, over and over.
But also,
again.
like, playing Battlefield, you know, as someone who also played all those old Battlefields and playing the beta, I was like, this is like that. And you're right. It is nothing new, but it is, again, that nothing new done to 11.
And to certain audiences, it is something.
Oh, sure.
So.
But it comes down to execution again. Yeah. It's more important to have this experience that blows that kid away, whether he knows it's new or whether he knows it's old. Yeah. Whether he even knows about. I mean, he probably would have some idea because there's a 6 in the title, right? Yeah. It is interesting to me how the numbers in the title don't matter for online games. Yeah. They'll do that, but if it's Alan Wake 2, forget it. Death Stranding 2, forget it. Like.
Well, I would love to go to you guys for this topic because this is a very interesting topic with a lot of deep sort of discussion points and different angles you can take on it. But unfortunately, we are running out of time. I see some of you guys wrote like
and
really.
Rob Manuel is also has a point. There is no average person in the YouTube chat. Remember that all marketing.
Hey, what's up, Rob? What's going on, brother?
All marketing is basically voodoo. It's casting spells.
But again, if you have a skill of predicting what the largest number of people are going to resonate with, then is there an average person?
No, there isn't.
Some of it's semantics, I think. But.
Some of it is semantics, but also you find me that person with that skill. But they don't exist.
I'm pretty good at it, man.
You're pretty good at it, but are you?
I'm pretty good at predicting Metacritic scores.
Then why aren't you running marketing for Take-Two?
I could.
You probably could, but they won't.
Because I'm Shane Satterfield and nobody knows me.
But who is running marketing for Take-Two? And
someone who's probably not as good as me at it.
Yeah, but who is? Like, why are they there?
Because they interviewed at the right time when they had an open position and they knew somebody that got on the interview. You know how it works. Yeah. It's like the best person doesn't fill every job. In fact, I would argue the best person pretty much never fills the job.
And yet, 100 million copies sold.
Yeah. Yep. I wish I could go through all these comments. I see that you guys really dedicated a lot of time to these, but we're just out of time, unfortunately. This is just going to be one of those topics where we're going to need you guys to hit up the comment section, either on SIFTD.net at our Patreon, or on our YouTube, on the YouTube archive or whatever, and I'll be there. I will jump in and I'll interact with you guys about it.
Rob said I didn't even know that the most played game right now is Grow a Garden,
which is a Roblox little mini game. It costs like $3.
Okay. I don't know anything about Roblox.
That's to my point earlier I was talking about with the younger kids. They're like, where's the next $5 game that I'm going to play for 3 months? And that's it right now. And it was Peak last month.
It's funny how...
It was Balatro before that.
Well, you know what? Like, sometimes when they talk about... I mean, I don't know anything about Roblox, but like when they talk about that stuff, you know what I think of? The arcade.
Yeah.
Back when
quarter at a time.
All you needed was a quarter.
Yeah.
I know like $3 is like a quarter.
Yeah. Which is true.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Roblox is. It's an arcade for young kids, basically, to try out a bunch of goofy stuff. And some stuff sticks. Most of it doesn't.
Yep. Further proof that I believe Sony wasted a huge opportunity by not supporting Dreams better.
I agree.
I mean, I think they support a long time.
And now I think it's gone for good.
Oh,
I don't think anything like that's ever coming
no,
back.
definitely not. I agree.
It
Definitely
sucks. All right. Well, unfortunately, folks, we do have to move on because we are running out of time. But again, I will be in the comments section everywhere to get feedback on this topic, answer any questions you guys have, and more importantly, look at some of the interesting insights that you guys have on pretty much every topic we discuss here on GameFace. So I'll be there. Save your comments, maybe even copy them and paste them into something, and then when it goes up on SIFTD tomorrow, maybe paste your comment into the comments there. Let's get a discussion going about this. These are the topics that I really love on GameFace.
Sanuku that's a different topic to some degree, but I am interested. Like, it's talking about a study that 3/4 of all the reviews you find on the aggregate sites are bots or
the user reviews.
That's not really relevant to what you're talking about, but like I would be very interested in that study too,
right?
Because sometimes I do scroll through the Metacritic or the Rotten Tomato stuff, and I'm like, I've never heard of any of these outlets.
I know.
Like some of these gaming sites where I'm like, why do you get to be in the, like, why are you affecting this score?
Anybody can get in there,
yeah,
pretty
it's
much.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm just comparing that to back when we were fighting to be on Metacritic at G4, and they wouldn't let us.
Oh, yeah, they were really picky about it.
Weird.
Oh, we didn't like your one review. It's
very much so. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. So anyway, there you go. That's our discussion on, are great games really not good enough anymore? Do they need to be exceptional to be successful, or dirt cheap? It feels like we're dealing with those extremes right now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more luck involved than anyone who runs those companies wants to admit.
A lot of it is like influencers. Can you get an influencer to latch onto your game for a day?
Or it happens to come out at the time some major
thing happens,
or some other movie's popular, or some shows popular. Or vice versa.
Or is there a pandemic and Animal Crossing New Horizons sells 50 million units or whatever? Yeah. A lot of that stuff matters.
And then are you going to judge the next Animal Crossing game sales by that game sales, even though the environment is coming out and is so different?
Yeah. Yep. There's a lot to consider.
It's sort of like putting out, if you put out Super Mario Brothers 1 now, it's like, it probably wouldn't sell as well as it did in 1985.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that has nothing to do with the quality of the game.
Yeah. Things have moved on. That's the
Yeah.
big reason. Yep. All right, we got to move on. Next up is time for the lightning round, news roundup, where we go through some of the biggest stories in the week in a much shorter period of time than we discuss pretty much everything else on GameFace.
We only spend 20 minutes per topic on this one.
We got to go way lower than that this time. We really got to make it a lightning round because we are running out of time. We still have to get to name that game tune. All right, first up in the lightning round, I kind of ruined this a little bit earlier in the show, but it's still worth discussing right now, and that is that Rod Ferguson has left Blizzard after shipping Diablo 4. Now, keep in mind, Rod Ferguson, his nickname in the industry is The Closer.
Yeah.
He is known for coming in, working on troubled projects, finishing them off, and then moving on his way to the next one. And that's probably what he's doing right now.
He clearly had to hitch a ride on the wind.
Yeah. So I hinted at maybe BioShock 4. The timing for that seems pretty crazy because he was the closer that finished BioShock Infinite, which was the last BioShock game. And just this week, Take-Two said, we're not canceling BioShock 4. It's great, but great isn't good enough. Do you think maybe Rod is being called in to save BioShock 4?
I mean, that's certainly not impossible, but I would argue that the BioShock Infinite that shipped was not particularly great either.
Yeah.
It sold 11 million copies.
I liked it still. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it was still pretty good.
But the whole middle of the story is clearly cut out of it.
Yeah.
And the ending is just like 3 too many gunfights, and it mostly got redeemed by the DLC. I was actually talking about that with Leffler this week. About how
former G4 colleague of ours.
Colleague. And
also, Robert Manuel is on YouTube as well.
Rob Manuel knows him too. And but it was basically how there's 2 different directions to go with a bunch of like kind of these sort of introspective things. It was also Silent Hill, where you can go in a direction where like every single entry is a different exploration of a different psychological theme or different, in the case of BioShock, like social project, social system, or like political system theory or that kind of thing. Or you could do B, where you just take the thing that was the big hit in the first place and just continually revisit it. And I think it's more interesting to do A. which Silent Hill started out doing and then retreated back for 3. And BioShock did not do. BioShock, probably just out of necessity, the second BioShock goes back to Rapture, and I found that very uninteresting because it was where we'd been before, and it was a prequel, so you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Minerva's Den DLC, great. The rest of the game, meh. And then BioShock Infinite is B. BioShock Infinite, okay, we've done basically Randian objectivism in BioShock 1, so we're going to do American exceptionalism in BioShock Infinite. And it just did not have the balls to close that out. And I think it's very interesting that the thing that they fell back to was going back to Rapture again for the DLC for that game, which was actually a lot better than a lot of it. Actually kind of completes the whole thing and makes it a better total package. But it's interesting to me that it's so hard for BioShock to move on from Rapture. And I wonder,
so how does that have to do with Rod?
I'm saying that Rod did not really succeed at getting the new narrative out the door with justice done to it in Infinite, and that was part of the reason I think that you had to fall back to Rapture again for the DLC.
But the publisher looks at it like he came in, finished the game that was in trouble, and it sold 11 million units.
Right.
That's all they care about.
Well, yeah.
So that would make them maybe hire him to do it again.
Well, I thought they cared about it being exceptional.
Well, that's what they're doing. They think he's the guy who comes in to put it over the top from
Infinite
great
is not
to exceptional. They think it was. It sold 11 million units.
What was its review scores?
I actually don't remember.
8s.
Was it 8s?
Yeah.
I don't remember. BioShock Infinite has an 8 Metacritic.
I would be surprised if it was above 8.5.
Well, over time, it's very hard to maintain a 9 or higher because little sites come in and review it for the next 5 years or whatever, and inevitably the numbers go down usually over time. Very few games go up over the long haul, review score-wise.
Oh, no, ignore me.
What
94.
Was it? 94?
That's a crazy...
But I told you, though, like... If you're Take-Two, you'll take that every time.
Yeah, but again, I'm
kind
of saying that that's just reviewers being stupid.
All right, we can't.
The audience score is 8.6.
So where do you think Rod's going?
Wherever he wants, probably. I mean, honestly, if I was him, I don't think I'd want to get involved in another BioShock slog because that doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Unless they want to pay him a ton of money, and you can go ahead and pay Rod a ton of money. I'm happy.
Yeah, I think he's already made a ton of money.
He has, but like you can continue doing that. Yeah. Here's the thing, I would have to guess there are plenty of games that need Rod Ferguson to come in and get them out the door.
He has like 10 options on his plate right now. I think BioShock sounds like a good one.
It's too bad that Perfect Dark got canceled because I bet he could have saved that.
Seriously, I believe that. He probably could have. And I wonder, too, if maybe some of these publishers that have these games that were just canceled are like, maybe.
I would bet that at least half the major publishers in the industry are looking real close at Rod Ferguson.
Or they already did. Or they already he knows where he's going.
I'm sure they've all talked to him already. I mean,
he knows where he's going
everybody
already.
Knows everybody. But, like... No, he would be a valuable asset on about 15 different projects right now.
Yeah.
So I think he can pick whatever the hell he thinks looks the most lucrative and or the most interesting to him.
Okay.
And honestly, more power to him.
Me too. I think he's good at what he does. And if I had a project that was in trouble, I would hire him immediately.
There are definitely other people who do kind of what he does, but it's significant that we know his name.
He's a great project manager.
He is.
That's what it is. That's what the job is.
I mean, we know him from Epic to begin with, but like...
Yeah.
You know, he has a reputation for being able to get the job done, and in an industry that falls victim to feature creep and such. I mean, you know,
he knows how to cut.
Hey, you know who might want to call Rod Ferguson is the Star Citizen people. How about that?
He wanted nothing to do with that.
I wouldn't touch that.
Next up in the lightning round, we've heard a lot of stuff about Bungie. It's been working on Marathon. We thought the game might be canceled, so the first big news is that Marathon is in fact not canceled. And Sony has said that it will launch probably before March of next year. The other thing, though, is that Sony's CFO came out this week and said that, you know what? We're not giving them the independence that they had anymore. It's all over.
I did enjoy it. It's like, we're not canceling it, but you do have to go to your room.
Yeah, and you do now have to listen to mom and dad from now on.
We're really pulling that curfew in.
Yeah, big time. Right call or wrong call?
I mean, I think it's the right call to rein Bungie in.
Yeah.
I feel like we might be at the point where you should consider maybe cutting the Marathon bait.
I think you may be right.
Maybe you're just stuck because you have to have something out in the financial year, but like...
The one thing I will say...
I can't imagine like the industry and enthusiast buzz on this is going to be nothing but like laughing stock, and then I don't see how that translates out into the mainstream world as anything other than like, what is this weird thing?
The only thing it has going for it is that no other game looks like it. You see
maybe,
you remember it.
Well, it might not even look like it
right.
after this because of that plagiarism
That's
problem.
true, actually. It may not even look like this after it's all said and done. The one thing it has going for it that sets it apart, it was stolen.
Mm-hmm. Like to the words on the walls.
I know, it's so bad.
So bad.
I mean, it is kind of surprising that they didn't cancel it just out of principle.
Yeah, or just out of fear.
Right.
Like, I mean, unless you want to completely overhaul this, I'm very curious what this is going to look like when they show it again.
I think it's going to look like this. I don't think they're going to change it.
You think they're just going to, like, pay that person off?
They'll pay it off, or they'll just say, well, we took out the art that was legitimately stolen, and we're just...
all of it.
I know.
It's
the
so
whole
much of
theme
it.
is based on that girl's art.
Yeah.
The whole theme of it. I hear you.
You should just... Well, I don't remember her name, but you should just call it, like, whatever name's Marathon.
Yeah, seriously.
Just put her name at the top.
She may demand that if they want to bail themselves out.
Like
and
every time you
game.
finish a match, you get a link to her DeviantArt page or something.
Yeah.
Like help this girl sell some fucking art.
Yeah,
if you're gonna use this shit.
I don't blame PlayStation at all. Like, it gave Bungie more than enough opportunity. Like, too much opportunity.
Well, especially after you spent that kind of money on them. And part of it, I mean, it turned out I was right. Back when they bought them, I thought they were going to... One of the reasons they wanted them was for their expertise in the game-as-a-service space. And it turned out that that was correct. But it turned out that that was a very bad choice.
Yep, it absolutely was.
Which I did not see coming. I really thought they had... I really thought they had things kind of more in hand in that space.
They were in the game early with Destiny. Yeah. They were one of the first people to do it.
But more and more, it's coming out. It's like, oh, Destiny kind of was an accident in a weird way.
Because Destiny 2 definitely did not keep the momentum going. There's no doubt about it. Yep. All right. Next up in the lightning round, PlayStation 5 just hit 80 million units shipped. And it is 2.5 million behind the PS4 at the same exact period of time in their lifespan. So it does appear that very slowly over time, the PlayStation 5 is following behind the PlayStation 4. What does that tell you?
It tells me that that's about what PlayStations are going to sell from forever.
Yeah.
Maybe. Unless something drastically shifts. Although maybe I would say the PS6 costing $1,000 would count as a drastic shift.
Do you think it's because of the lack of first-party software output, or do you think it's something else?
Lack of what? I mean, I think that's great.
You think 80 million is great?
Only 2.5 behind the PS4, given the output they've had for this generation. I can't even believe they're selling that many.
Well, here's the thing. They're actually making more money on the PS5 than they did on the PS4 as far as revenue and profit. People are buying more games and spending more money digitally on PS5 than they did on PS4.
So they're what I get out of that is that it really is people's only system.
It seems that way.
I mean, obviously you could infer that from Xbox sales or lack thereof, but like it really feels like people are still willing to use a PlayStation as their primary gaming device,
even if it may not be the smartest decision.
Yeah,
it appears that it's just.
I would love to know the pro sales. I note they haven't really said.
Yes, note that they have not mentioned that at all. I was a little surprised to see that the PS5 has fallen behind PS4, admittedly. Because every time we would get an update on that, it was always a little bit ahead or even, and I just figured as the games kept coming out, there was more games that appealed to more people, that it would start accelerating, and it would actually do better than PS4.
I mean, I'm pretty surprised it's this close to PS4.
Yeah.
PS4 was a pretty runaway
hit. I mean, it's still ended up selling like 140 or something like that, I think. Something like that, around there.
I don't know if PS5 is going to get to that.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I mean, and that's kind of the point, is that it looks like...
might crawl there by the time they stop making them in like 2030.
Right, yeah, like 10 years from now or something. But here's the thing, like, Packers predicted that, slowly they're going to sell less consoles generation after generation. He caught a lot of flack for it. It does appear like that is happening.
I mean, I don't think it is.
No?
Like 2.5 million difference at this point in life cycle is not actually that big of a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you could have one runaway hit and you sell that many in a day.
Yeah, but like it's just like selling 80 million of anything is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm not worried about consoles going. I mean, at this rate, we might not have consoles anymore by 2130. Okay, right. Great. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fear is that it accelerates with this younger audience who are supposed to come in and take our place spending all the money, and they're not. So
yeah, well, that's sort of... I think that's a more universal problem than video games.
Yeah, there's probably other industries that are affected.
I think not having that money to spend is all... Because, like, I mean, I did that experiment where, like, somebody was doing it on Twitter, where I went back to find an Instacart order I made in like 2020 during the pandemic when we weren't supposed to go to the grocery store, and I still did. I masked all the shit up.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to leave the house.
Yeah, I needed to get out.
But sometimes I was lazy and did Instacart. So I took an Instacart order I did from like August 2020, and I put it all back in the cart. I reduplicated the order, and in 2020 it was like $74, and now it's $130.
Oh my God.
So yeah, you tell me why I don't have why someone doesn't have $60 to spend on a fucking video game? Because they gotta buy food.
Wow.
The same food they were buying 5 years ago.
That's insane. I didn't see that viral thing at all.
Yeah,
that's
I went
scary.
around, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting thing. I'll try that because
Yeah.
she did it was like, I think her bill in 2020 was 78, and her bill in like 2020 or now was like 115 or something.
And yours was even more.
Mine was more, probably because I was buying brand name shit.
That's scary.
And meat.
Well, bottom line is the industry leader is doing quite well. I mean, that's the bottom line. The big takeaway from this is like the best-selling console is still selling really damn well.
So, do you think the Switch 2 will overtake that? Not like now,
like
but
eventually,
like at the same point.
Do
in
I
its
think
life?
the Switch 2 will outsell PS5?
At the same point in its life, kind of thing.
I think it'll outsell PS5 at the same point. I do. Will it sell ultimately as many units? I don't know.
That's how come Sony's so good at that? Like tail ending shit. Like even with the PS2, like they're still announcing PS2 sales. Sometimes it's like, oh, actually, it sold this many in like.
Well, remember,
2010,
the Switch was about to catch it, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
no, wait a minute, we have an update
They
to
keep
sales.
updating things.
You're right, though.
Sony's consoles just seem to have like this tail. Like
It's
this
just the winning
long
brand.
tail.
It's just the console that most people are going to buy when they're ready to buy a console.
Yeah.
Some people wait till they're real cheap. They'll buy them used or whatever, but it's just what people are going to buy.
It's just weird to me that effect also doesn't apply to Switch.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, obviously, Switch 1 is like
Still going.
the best-selling console ever, pretty much. All it has to pass at this point, I think, is DS. So, to be the best-selling platform ever. So, it did very well. I don't think the sequel is going to sell as well. I think a big problem right now is that you don't have the cadence that you had throughout the entire Switch life cycle. At the beginning of Switch 2,
but you
which
also
is weird.
don't have that cadence with PlayStation either.
That's true.
And it's still doing
Again,
fine.
it's just automatic. I'm going to buy a console. Of course I'm going to buy a PlayStation. I just feel like that's just the general prevailing opinion.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty common. I mean, I'm going to buy a video game. Of course it's going to be GTA 6.
Mm-hmm.
I was just playing GTA 5. That's all I played for the last 10 years.
All right. Next up in the lightning round.
Get me a great white shark card. Go.
We got some good news this week, I think. Remember Red Octane?
Yeah, I do.
Company that made all the peripherals for Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
Well, they have launched a new studio called Red Octane Studios, and it is working on a new version of Guitar Hero. Is that a good idea or a bad idea, Matt?
I honestly don't know. Like, there's part of me that's like, oh, I wonder if there's a bunch of people our age and a little younger that would see that and be like, oh, because I keep thinking about hooking the old Rock Band shit up again.
Every once in a while, I get that little ping in my brain, and I'm like, I wouldn't mind playing some Rock Band.
And then I remember that I got rid of all my plastic guitars, and all I have is a giant, heavy Stratocaster, and I'd have to go find some of the.
I have to remember I have to take everything out of my closet to get the guitar out.
I gotta remember which Xbox has the most songs on it, because I have one set of songs on one and one set of songs on the 360, but then a bunch of them transferred to the Xbox One, but some of them didn't. And I have I do have the adapter that goes for like $300-400 now that like lets you hook the
that little hub
instruments
thing
up to things.
Yeah,
but I'm like, I don't know, man. Like,
is there a market for this though in 2026 or 2027? I mean,
I have to imagine part of this is happening because Fortnite has incorporated the guitar stuff to some degree.
Yeah, so the peripherals are out there, and
yeah,
because that was the other thing. Red Octane got burned pretty bad on peripherals. It had built a bunch of them, like for Guitar Hero Live, I think. And they ended up just sitting in a warehouse, rotting, basically.
I don't know. Like, theoretically, this is a pretty universal appeal thing.
Everybody loves music, right?
Yeah, but like, how much music people love these days is guitar driven?
Not a lot.
Less than
really
you think.
Not. I mean, DJ Hero might be the smarter thing to bring back.
Well,
at
that's
this
what I was
point.
going to say. It's like, okay, the biggest question you have if you're doing a music peripheral game right now is how do you get K-pop into it?
No, you're right. I mean, they kind of went that direction towards the end, where they're putting like electronic pop songs in, and they're letting you play guitar along to the synth.
Right, and like Rock Band put the synth in as a musical instrument, which I appreciate because I'm actually better at that than the other ones.
I don't know. I'm torn on this. Like, it feels like the last two experiments with this have been miserable failures.
Yeah.
but they also feel like they weren't properly positioned.
They weren't properly positioned, and I didn't feel like they were like properly going for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna bring,
it's a game inside a game,
right? If you're gonna bring Guitar Hero back, bring Guitar Hero back.
Yeah. I mean, Activision won't give them the IP,
right? But like do that, but
with your
you
new
call
name
it whatever
or
else you would call it. I don't know. Octane Rocktane.
Rocktane. There you go.
There's your consulting agency money earned for the day.
There you go. Rocktane. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I would.
Also, there's part of me is like you're inevitably going to lean into guitar rock, and like kind of feels like your audience is going to end up being us. Like, and we're too old.
Yeah.
Although I guess we are the ones buying the fucking games right now. So
we're the only ones left that buy games.
We're still buying shit. So yeah, pander to us.
They should be doing that anyway, Matt. Damn it. All right. Next up in the lightning
We didn't live
round.
this long to not be pandered to. That's like the Gen X clarion call now. So like, hey, when do we get sucked up to? You don't. We're just gonna jump right to the millennials.
Yep. Well, once every few months or so, we get a new Nintendo piece of peripheral patent, whatever, and the latest patent is this for Switch 2. It is like a fishing rod peripheral that snaps onto the new Joy-Con for Switch 2.
I like the idea that it's just winding up the Switch.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's going to run the Switch.
So I thought it looked like a fishing rod peripheral, but people are thinking that this is actually coming for that Playdate
thing.
handheld with the crank on it.
That's possible, but at the same time, it's like, is that popular enough for
No.
Nintendo to really, like...
I mean, I don't think a fishing rod peripheral's popular enough.
But it's also sort of like... It's dumb enough to work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like fishing games are popular with a certain audience. It's like those hunting games where it's like you don't think about it, but those hunting games sell like 1 million, 2 million copies.
I mean, Nintendo may be working on some crazy first-party fishing game.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be like the best fishing game ever made.
Finally, Link's Fishing Academy is gonna be.
That's probably what it'll be.
That's not even the dumbest idea I've had all day.
No,
frankly.
definitely not.
And like, you know what? I kind of like fishing games.
I do too.
I had Get Bass on Dreamcast, and I played that a lot. And I remember my girlfriend at the time was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Try it." And she's like, "Fuck."
I like it.
She's like, "It's really good." I'm like, "This is fun." I'm like, "Yeah, it is."
Yeah.
I don't know what else to tell you.
That's why fishing has survived for centuries. It's still fun. But anyway, I don't know what this is going to end up being for. It is definitely one of the weirder Nintendo patents that we've seen. I don't know if it has a lot of functionality across a bunch of different genres.
Tell you,
but
you give me a modern Sega bass fishing on this, and I will buy your stupid peripheral. I am that dumb. Like I'll tell you that for free.
All right. Well, we do have a couple more stories left in the lightning round, but we're going to have to cut them, unfortunately, because we're out of time. The good news is I stack these in order of importance. So when we do cut a couple stories from the lightning round, don't lose too much sleep over it. They're usually the less interesting stories in the lightning round, which means we have just one thing left to do for this episode of GameFace. That's right. It's time for Name That Game Tune, brought to you by Soundwizardry.com, the absolute wizards, the masters, the maestros of audio. If you're working on a game right now and your sound team sucks, go to Soundwizardry.com. They will bail your asses out. They are some of the industry's best audio experts. They have worked on Game of the Year winners, Game of the Year contenders. They're working on a gigantic game right now.
Exceptional, some would say.
Yes, exceptional. A cut above great. That is Soundwizardry.com. Go on over there. Hire them. You will not regret it. They work on game audio. They work on TV, film, everything. But game audio is definitely their niche. Head on over there. Hire them. You will not regret it. I promise you, they are awesome people who do awesome work. All right, now we're going to play Name That Game Tune, where I play 5 samples from a video game, and you try to guess the name of the game before this guy. 3 things before we get going. You can only win once per calendar year. Do not play if you've won already this year. The chat goes into slow mode, which means you can only input one chat or one game every 60 seconds. And then finally, please make sure that you like PC games or you have a friend who likes PC games, because if you win a PC code, and we don't want to just give that to somebody who's just going to waste it or not use it. So if you don't play PC games, just sit back and enjoy. Matt, are you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Let me get your headphones turned up. Let me bring up the interface for Name That Game Tune. And again, I apologize to the fine people over on YouTube. We only play Name That Game Tune with our Twitch audience.
A little louder, please.
A little louder? All right. That's pretty much full bore. You good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You ready to play Name That Game Tune, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys ready to play Name That Game Tune? Here's the first sample in 3, 2, 1. Any guesses from that
Final
first?
Fantasy 16.
No. That would be pretty slick of me, though. Crash in the Boy Street Challenge. Nope. Where'd you get that one from, Eric? Ghost of Tsushima, no. 2 people guessed that, no. Dying Light, no. Dragon's Dogma 2, no. 2 of those. Wow, interesting. No, not Peter Jackson's King Kong. Far Cry 4, no. Assassin's Creed Shadows, no. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, no. Neo 1, no. God of War, no. Soul Calibur 2, nope. Kingdoms of Amalur, no. The Surge, wow, Sub Sam Jam. Off the top rope with the Surge, but that's not it. Any other guesses from that first one? It's usually pretty hard to get from the first one. On purpose.
Unless you guess it before you even play it.
Like it happened 2 weeks ago. Sekiro, no. Final Fantasy 14, no. Any last guesses? Going once. Going twice. Okay. Here's the second sample. In 3, 2, 1. DMC 5, no.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Not Kingdom Hearts 3. Any guesses from that second one?
Kingdom Hearts 2.
No. Not Kingdom Hearts 2. Far Cry 3, no.
Kind of sounds like Sora.
Battlefield 3,
Young lad.
no. World of Warcraft, no. Final Fantasy 16, no. Matt already guessed that one. Zelda Breath of the Wild, no.
Link has never sounded that
No.
old.
Final Fantasy 10, no. Howard's Legacy, no. Shadows of Mordor, no. Elden Ring Night Rain, nope. The Bouncer, no. Zet Saber. Wow, you pulled that one out from the archives. Dynasty Warriors. Remember, you have to give us the entry. So you can't just say, like, even, unless you thought it was the first Dynasty Warriors. Neo, no. Someone guessed that already. Oh, we have a winner. TP got it. It is Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Wow.
How did you get that so late after I played that sample? That's pretty crazy. Congratulations, TP __.
It sounded familiar. See, I wouldn't have gotten that because I played as the girl.
Oh. And I did not.
I recognized the.
I played as a
sound
guy,
effects,
so
but
all
I'm
my
who's
footage
guy?
is from the
Who's
guy.
I was trying to figure out who the boy was.
Here's the third one. Here's a fourth.
Come into my parlor, said the Cyclops to the sailor.
And here's the last
You
one.
once fought beside his allies, the Titans.
Good job, TP.
Convince him to
I actually
stand
played it a
down.
few months ago. Good job.
It's not that simple.
Well, TP, you know how to get at me. Just send me a DM here on Twitch. You can send me a DM on Sifted. I'm at Shane. Send a DM on Twitter. I'm at Dinfire or at Sifted Games. On Blue Sky, at Sifted Games, or sorry, at Sifted, at Shane Satterfield on Blue Sky. Any of those places you get at me, just send me your Steam ID in your first message so we can become friends, and then I'll be able to get you your game. Congratulations, TP. That was an awesome job, man. Really good job. Did anybody else end up guessing that?
No.
So it was only him.
Vincent seemed to know what it was.
Oh, yeah.
But he's obviously not
All right.
eligible.
Well, Sifters, that's going to do it for GameFace episode 446 right here on Sifted Games at Sifted.net. Another friendly reminder that if you like what we're doing here and you want to see it continue, please head on over to patreon.com/Sifted. That's SIFTD. For just $5 a month, you get all our content early. For $2 a month, you get Pactor Factor early. If you don't have any real money, but you're still an Amazon Prime subscriber, help us out with Twitch Prime. If you're watching on YouTube right now, please go down to the description below and figure out how to do that. Once you connect your accounts, you just click 3 times and give us $2.50 every month. It is beautiful. And hey, you're sticking it to Amazon at the same time, which is double beautiful. And if you don't have any money at all, you can still help us. Just like the show right now, click like on wherever you're watching it. If you're listening to this on a podcast service, review the show right now. That'd be great. Just say Best Gaming Podcast. You don't even have to take any time to do it. Just review it. It would help us a bunch. Helps us bubble up in search, and we'd appreciate it very, very much. All right, well, that's going to do it for GameFace for this week. What are we looking at next week, Matt? Yep. That's what a Drag X Drive, that crazy Switch 2 like basketball game in the wheelchair.
Yeah,
That's coming out this week, I think. But otherwise, we'll figure it out. We always come up with great topics, even if there aren't a bunch of big games coming out. We'll figure it out one way or another.
Yeah, I did look that up the other day because I'm like, what is it? And it wasn't really anything. I don't think there was anything until the last week.
Yeah, there's Shinobi
like
the last
big
week
things.
and a couple other
Yeah.
big ones. Yeah. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We always do. We're here every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/SIFTD Games. We stream this show live on Twitch. We stream this show live on YouTube. What's up, Twitch? What's up, YouTube crew? You guys were awesome as usual. Thanks to everybody who did Twitch Prime, everybody who gave us donations or did super chats on YouTube. We appreciate all you guys. So have yourselves an awesome week filled with awesome games. GameFace is up and out.